Welcome back. Tonight, we're peeling back the curtain to reveal the hidden mechanics of Pokémon society. A vast, complex reality operating right under our noses, far beyond what the games and anime ever dared to show you. This is an incredible topic, but I'll keep my narration calm to ensure you can still drift off to sleep. Thank you to those of you who've been joining us consistently. If you're falling asleep with us tonight, let me know in the comments how many nights in a row you've been here. And if this is your first night, just comment night 1. Now back to the video. Close your eyes and imagine the world of Pokémon as you've always known it. You see the bright colours of a bustling Pokémart, the cheering crowds of a stadium, and the friendly face of a Nurse Joy behind a counter. It is a world of sunshine, adventure, and the simple pursuit of becoming a master. But if you look past the surface, past the high-definition battles and the upbeat music of the gym lobbies, a much older and more complex reality begins to take shape. Beneath the polished veneer of modern trainer culture lies a civilization built upon the wreckage of ancient wars, the shadows of forgotten gods, and a social hierarchy that dictates the very flow of life and death. We often think of this world as a playground for humans, but what if the humans are actually the newcomers to a system that has been functioning for thousands of years? What if the cities we walk through are merely small islands of order in a vast, untamed wilderness, governed by monarchies and councils of creatures we claim to own? To truly understand how this society functions, we have to look at the cracks in the history books. We have to ask why a king would build a machine of ultimate destruction fueled by the life force of his own companions, or how a single battle 3,000 years ago reshaped the genetic destiny of every living being in the Kalos region. We have to consider the weight of the crown worn by the kings of Galar, who stood against a literal apocalypse, only to have their names erased by time, leaving behind only the cold steel of legendary blades. The world of Pokémon is not just a collection of regions. It is a living, breathing tapestry of myth and trauma. It is a place where the literal creator of the universe once walked the earth in the form of a golden beast, leaving behind plates of power that still hum with the energy of the beginning. Or that it is a place where the weather isn't just a phenomenon, but a constant struggle for dominance between ancient leviathans slumbering in the deep and the heights of the atmosphere. Think about the structure of a typical town, houses and shops, but we rarely see the internal politics of the Pokémon themselves. Within the forests and the mountains, there are hierarchies we are only beginning to glimpse. There are type-based monarchies where the strongest and most wise lead their kin through the changing seasons. There are councils of elders that ensure the balance of power remains stable, preventing any one species from overwhelming the ecosystem. When a trainer catches a Pokémon, they aren't just taking a creature from the wild, they're removing a piece of a complex social puzzle. How does the rest of the pack react? How does the society of the wild adapt to the constant presence of human technology? The mystery goes even deeper when we look at the humans who lived before the invention of the Poké Ball. In the ancient land of Hisui, the relationship was one of reverence and fear. People didn't seek to master Pokémon, they sought to survive them. They worshipped the noble Pokémon as living gods, appointing wardens to serve their every need. This wasn't a partnership of equals, it was a system of divine service. And yet, even then, the seeds of modern conflict were being sown. The feud between the Diamond and Pearl clans over the nature of time and space shows us that humans have always tried to project their own misunderstandings onto the divine. They fought over names and interpretations while the true power of the universe watched from the Hall of Origin, indifferent to the squabbles of mortals. We must also confront the darker corners of this reality. The stories of the burned towers in Johto, where innocent lives were lost in a fire sparked by human hands, only for a legendary bird to breathe new life into the ashes, creating something entirely new and terrifying. The legendary beasts Entei, Raikou, and Suicune are not just powerful creatures. They are living monuments to human cruelty and divine mercy. They roam the land as reminders of what happens when the bond between human and Pokémon is severed by violence. And then there are the eternal wanderers, like the giant king Aizehe, who carries the weight of 3 millennia of guilt, or walking the earth as a ghost of a war that everyone else has forgotten. His existence proves that the consequences of using Pokémon as weapons are not just historical footnotes, they are permanent scars on the fabric of reality. In this exploration, we are going to look at the hidden gears of this world. We will examine the ways in which ancient myths have become modern religions, and how organizations like Team Galactic or Team Plasma are not just criminal groups, but the inevitable result of a society that has forgotten its own origins. We will look at the strange anomalies that hint at a deeper, more mysterious biology, the vanishing of companions, the shifting of forms, and the influence of extraterrestrial light. This is a journey through the complete history of a world that is far more dangerous, far more spiritual, and far more beautiful than the games ever let on. It is a world where every rustle in the tall grass is a conversation, every mountain peak is a throne, and every trainer is a small part of a story that began at the dawn of time. The stakes are higher than just a trophy or a title. The stability of the entire planet rests on the shoulders of these creatures and the fragile peace they maintain with humanity. From the depths of the Paldean craters to the frozen wastes of the Crown Tundra, the evidence of a hidden world is everywhere if you know where to look. We're going to uncover the truth behind the legends, the reality of the social structures that keep the peace, and the ancient secrets that still dictate how a trainer and their partner move through the world today. This is the lore of the world they never show you, the silent history that hums beneath your feet every time you step out into the tall grass. Let us go back to the beginning, to the void before the world was made, and see how it all truly began. Before anything existed, not even the whisper of time or the vastness of space, there hovered a single cosmic egg in the endless void. This was no ordinary shell. It pulsed with an otherworldly light containing the essence of creation itself. From within its fragile confines burst forth Arceus, the alpha Pokémon, the original one. Its form shimmered like molten starlight, a being of pure potential, neither solid nor ethereal, but everything and nothing all at once. As Arceus unfurled, the egg cracked open, scattering fragments that would one day seed stars and worlds. In that primal moment, reality trembled. Arceus surveyed the nothingness, its gaze piercing the chaos. With effortless will, it began shaping the initial dimensions, weaving threads of existence from the void. First came the framework of time, a flowing river yet to carve its banks. Then space unfolded, vast and infinite, stretching like an endless canvas. Matter coalesced from scattered egg shards, forming the building blocks of worlds. Antimatter flickered in shadowed corners, a counterforce held in delicate balance. Arceus moved with divine precision, its body adapting, plates of elemental power shifting across its form to command the raw forces. The void echoed with the hum of creation, a symphony of crackling energy and forming light. Dimensions layered upon one another, stable yet alive, breathing with the rhythm of their maker. But Arceus knew solitude could not sustain eternity. To govern these newborn realms, it summoned forth its first progeny. From its own essence, Dialga was born, the temporal Pokémon, forged in the heart of Time's forge. Its steel body gleamed like forged eternity, chest plate roaring with the perpetual tick of moments past, present, and yet to come. Dialga commanded the flow of time itself, stretching seconds into eons or compressing ages into instants, ensuring the dimension Arceus had shaped never unraveled into stagnation. Beside it emerged Palkia, the spatial Pokémon, a colossal guardian of space. Pearl-like orbs adorned its form, pulsing with the infinite possibilities of distance and form. Palkia twisted realities, folding voids into pockets, expanding horizons beyond mortal sight, it held the fabric of space taut, preventing collapse or endless drift, a bulwark against the chaos that once reigned. Then from the fringes where light met shadow, Giratina slithered into being, the renegade Pokémon, ruler of antimatter and the Distortion world. Banished to its own warped realm for its violent nature, Giratina embodied the inverse, antimatter's seething fury, a mirror to the order of its siblings. Wings like shattered voids beat against the barriers of existence, maintaining the precarious balance. Together, Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina form the triad of governance, their powers interlocking like gears in a cosmic clockwork, forever bound to Arceus's vision. Yet the physical world demanded more than abstract dominion. Arceus extended its 1,000 arms, a manifestation of infinite reach, each limb a conduit of creation's fire. These arms stretched across the nascent dimensions, he sculpting the foundation of the physical world with meticulous grace. One arm plunged into the ether, forging the laws of gravity, binding matter to its pull so worlds could hold form. Another etched the rules of motion, allowing rivers to flow and winds to whirl. Elemental principles took shape under their touch: fire's hunger, water's fluidity, earth's unyielding strength, all codified into unbreakable laws. Picture those arms weaving like threads in a loom. Some hammered mountains from cosmic dust, their tips glowing with tectonic fury, birthing continents that would one day cradle oceans. Others stirred the primal soup of elements, infusing it with the spark of life, dictating how thunder cracks skies and leaves unfurl toward light. The laws of evolution crystallized here too, the hidden code that would transform simple cells into Pokémon of boundless variety. Energy flowed through each arm, balanced by Arceus's plates, 17 in total, each a key to a type's dominion, ensuring no force overwhelmed the harmony. These 1,000 arms did not merely build, they inscribed the very physics of reality. Conservation of energy became sacred, momentum eternal, entropy a gentle tide rather than devouring storm. In their wake, the first atoms danced into molecules, gases cooled into storms, and the skeleton of the universe solidified. Arceus withdrew its arms only when the groundwork pulsed with stability, a living foundation ready for further wonders. But whispers of imbalance lingered, Giratina's exile, a reminder that even creation held shadows. This first breath of the Creator set the stage for all that followed, a universe humming with purpose. Yet how did these divine forces touch the ancient lands of Hisui, where humans first gazed upon the divine? That's where our story deepens next in Chapter 2, the Hisuian Genesis, revealing the clashes of clans and the wardens who bridged gods and mortals. You won't want to miss how it all came crashing into human hands. With the fabric of time woven by Dialga, space expanded by Palkia, and the shadowed antimatter realm sealed away by Giratina, Arceus descended into its newest creation, a wild, untamed land known in those ancient days as Hisui. This region, now called Sinnoh, stretched vast and rugged under skies heavy with promise, its jagged peaks piercing clouds and rivers carving deep through forests thick with mystery. Here, the Creator God lingered, its form shimmering like fractured starlight, observing the Pokémon that stirred in the underbrush and soared above. Then came the humans, not born from the earth like the beasts around them, but wanderers from distant shores, braving treacherous seas in fragile vessels, lashed by storms. They washed ashore on Hisui's rocky beaches around 3,000 years ago, their eyes wide at the colossal Pokémon roaming free, unchallenged kings of the wilds. These first settlers, hardy and reverent, built settlements amid the crimson grasses and snow-capped heights, learning to coexist with creatures that could shatter boulders or summon tempests. But division soon fractured their fragile unity. One group, gazing at the unchanging brilliance of the night sky saw Arceus as eternal and steadfast, like a flawless diamond, unyielding, perfect, the alpha that never wavers. They called themselves the Diamond Clan, etching their creed into stone totems that still whisper in forgotten ruins. Across the divide, others beheld the moon's gentle cycles, waxing and waning in endless rhythm, and proclaimed Arceus as fluid and ever-shifting, akin to a luminous pearl cradled in the sea's embrace. The Pearl Clan rose in opposition, their banners rippling like waves, insisting the creator embodied perpetual change. What began as heated debates around campfires escalated into shadowed skirmishes, clans clashing over sacred groves and mountain passes, each convinced their vision alone pleased the divine watcher above. Yet in their fervour they shared a common awe for Hisui's mightiest Pokémon, beings of such raw power that they warped the land itself, demanding tribute to keep their fury in check. Arceus, ever the architect of balance, intervened not with thunderous wrath but with a subtle, shimmering grace. From its boundless essence, it bestowed divine blessings upon 10 noble Pokémon, elevating them as guardians of the realm. Kleavor, the axe-wielding mantis of obsidian fieldlands, cleaved mountains with strikes that echoed like thunderclaps. Lilligant of the crimson Mylands danced with petals that healed wounds and lured foes into hypnotic surrender. Hisuian Arcanine bounded across the cobalt coastlands, its flames a beacon against encroaching darkness. Electrode in the Coronet Highlands crackled with electric frenzy, its explosive rolls reshaping valleys. Avalugg towered over the Alabaster Icelands, an icy colossus whose breath froze rivers solid. Whiscash thrashed in the Ginkgo Landings waters, to earthquakes rippling from its whiskers. Sneasler scaled the sheer cliffs of the conflagrated ruins, poison dripping from claws that felled armies. Overquill prowled the riverbeds, its barbs a venomous storm. The white-striped basculin surged through cobalt coastlands depths, spectral energies hinting at transformations yet to come. And finally, the enigmatic 10th, whose form shifted like mist, each one now pulsed with Arceus's own vitality, their eyes glowing with otherworldly light. To shepherd these exalted beings, the clans established the Warden system, appointing humans of unyielding loyalty as caretakers. These wardens offered ritual offerings, berries heavy with nectar, polished stones resonant with the earth's hum, to appease the nobles and prevent their rampages from swallowing villages whole. Diamond and Pearl alike selected their finest, binding human will to Pokémon divinity in a pact that echoed through generations. The Wardens became living legends, their lives intertwined with the nobles' whims, whispering commands in tongues long lost, ensuring harmony where chaos once reigned. Picture the Warden of Kleavor kneeling before its jagged throne, the air thick with the scent of crushed leaves and ozone, as the nobles' blades hummed inches from flesh. A single misstep, and the land would weep. But woven into this divine order lay a profound mystery: the plates. Arceus, in its infinite wisdom, had forged 18 plates, crystalline shards embodying the primal types, fire, water, grass, and beyond, each a fragment of its omnipotent power. After ancient heroes, descendants of those first settlers, dared challenge and humble the creator in a trial of valor, Arceus scattered these plates across Hisui's expanse, not in defeat, but as a deliberate act to sustain equilibrium. One plate might rest buried in a volcanic crater, infusing the soil with fiery resilience against endless rains. Another, hidden in a coral reef, tempered the ocean's fury, preventing tidal onslaughts. They pulsed like hidden hearts, distributing Arceus's essence through ley lines that crisscrossed the region, binding the land's energies in perfect counterpoise. Normal against the extraordinary, steel against fragility, each plate a counterweight, ensuring no force dominated unchecked. Scholars in later eras would quest for them, sensing their subtle thrum beneath the earth, but their true purpose endured, to anchor Hisui's fragile peace. a silent symphony of balance amid the clan's discord. Through these blessings and distributions, Hisui flourished under a tentative truce, the Diamond and Pearl clans channeling their rivalry into stewardship rather than strife. Wardens patrolled mist-shrouded trails at dawn, their footsteps muffled by dew-kissed moss, while nobles slumbered in lairs adorned with ancestral carvings. Yet whispers persisted of greater upheavals stirring beyond the horizon, wars that would scar other lands, weapons born of ultimate desperation. In the next chapter, The Ultimate Weapon and the Carlos War, we'll uncover how a king's grief unleashed forces that could unravel existence itself, drawing even eternal wanderers into the fray. What horrors did that machine awaken, and who paid the price? As the wardens of Hisui stood vigilant over their divine charges, enforcing the fragile peace between the Diamond and Pearl clans, echoes of war began to ripple across distant lands. 3,000 years ago, in the sun-drenched meadows and shadowed chateaus of Kalos, a king named Az ruled with unyielding ambition. His realm, a glittering jewel of human ingenuity amid Pokemon's ancient wilds. Az was no ordinary sovereign. Tall and resolute, with eyes sharpened by endless campaigns, he had forged Kalos into a bastion of progress, where humans and Pokemon alike bent to the rhythm of his vision. Battles raged not as sport, but as brutal necessities, armies of Pokemon clashing under human command, their roars shaking the earth from Lumios's spires to the misty Geosenge Valley. What began as border skirmishes with rival kingdoms swelled into the Carlos War, a bloody conflict that consumed the region like a relentless storm. Fields once blooming with Vivillon wings turned to ash under flamethrower barrages, rivers ran red from the falls of countless warriors, and the air thickened with the cries of Pokémon pushed beyond endurance. King Az watched it all from his throne in Lumiose City, his strategies flawless, yet hollow. He treated his Pokémon as extensions of his will, loyal soldiers in a machine of conquest. But beneath the armoured pomp, a deeper bond stirred. At his side fluttered Floette, an eternal flower Pokémon, whose delicate petals shimmered eternally in hues of pink and gold, a gift from his youth that never wilted, no matter the season. She was his companion through the war's darkest hours, her gentle glow healing wounds that steel and strategy could not touch. Floette danced on his shoulder during council meetings, her light a rare softness amid maps stained with blood. The tide of war demanded sacrifices that even Az's iron heart could not ignore. In one fateful clash amid the crumbling ruins of what would become Dondemil town, Floette charged into the fray to shield her king from a devastating onslaught. A barrage of energy tore through her fragile form, her petals scattering like embers in the wind. She crumpled at Az's feet, her glow fading to nothing, leaving only silence where her song had been. The king cradled her lifeless body, the weight of that moment shattering something eternal within him. Grief twisted into madness as he refused to accept her death, vowing to defy the boundary between life and the void. Driven by desperation, Az delved into forbidden knowledge, unearthing the essence of infinity energy, a boundless force whispered in ancient Colossian tomes, drawn from the world's very core, capable of reshaping reality itself. In hidden laboratories beneath his palace, alchemists and scholars toiled under his command, channeling this radiant power into a colossal machine. Towering spires of obsidian and gold hummed with otherworldly light, veins of energy pulsing like living arteries. Az poured his soul into the device, its purpose singular: to bridge the gap between life and death, to call Floette back from oblivion. Months blurred into a frenzy of trials. The air crackled with static as prototypes flickered with ghostly apparitions, echoes of departed Pokémon whispering through the chamber. Finally, success. Infinity energy surged, and Floette re-emerged, her petals vibrant once more, to restored to his side, But the cost was unimaginable. The machine had bound AZ to immortality, his body unchanging, his wounds sealing instantly, yet his heart forever scarred. Floette, too, carried a shadow of her former self, her glow dimmed by the unnatural resurrection. Triumph soured swiftly. As peace tentatively bloomed, old enemies struck again, reigniting the flames of war. Rage consumed Ulcer, rage at the cycle of loss, at humans who treated Pokémon as pawns. In his fury, he twisted the revival machine into something profane. What was once a vessel of hope became the ultimate weapon, amplified by infinity energy to cataclysmic proportions. He mounted it atop his flagship airship, a behemoth blotting the skies, its core throbbing with destructive potential. The transformation unfolded in horror. Fields vaporized in beams of pure annihilation, armies reduced to petrified statues mid-charge, their Pokémon frozen in eternal agony. The weapon's light swept across Kalos like a divine judgment, ending the war in a single, apocalyptic sweep. Both sides crumbled, survivors left to wander ruins haunted by the echoes of the fallen. Floette, witnessing the carnage wrought by the power that saved her, fled in sorrow, vanishing into the wilds forever. Aizhol, alone with his eternal curse, unleashed one final volley that scarred the land itself, birthing the Pokémon known as Aegislash from the twisted remnants of ancient guardians. King AZ wandered then, an immortal spectre haunting Kalos' fringes. His airship, a relic of regret. He built monuments to the lost, etched with warnings against humanity's hubris. Yet his grief fueled a quiet vigilance over the world. Whispers persist that he beheld other calamities in those shadowed years, events that would shake distant realms to their foundations. And as AZ's shadow lingers in Kalos' lore, our tale turns to another apocalypse unfolding far across the sea. In the next chapter, Chapter 4, The Darkest Day and the Galar Kings, you'll uncover the Eternatus cataclysm that dwarfed even Kalos' horrors, the heroes who forged a dynasty from its ashes, and the forgotten truths AZ himself may have witnessed. What secrets bind these ancient wars into the Pokémon world's hidden tapestry? As the echoes of King AZ's ultimate weapon faded over the scarred lands of Kalos 3,000 years ago, another shadow fell across the world, this time in the rugged hills of Galar. A colossal entity plummeted from the stars like a dying sun, crashing into the earth with a force that shook the foundations of the ancient kingdom. That was Eternatus, the gigantic dragon born of pure unending energy, its descent marking what history would come to call the Darkest Day. The impact unleashed a storm of chaotic power, a wild surge that twisted the very air. Pokémon across Galar began to change, their bodies swelling unnaturally, fueled by this raw, unstable force we now know as Dynamax energy gone haywire. Wooloo the size of barns trampled villages underfoot, their fleece matted with debris from shattered homes. Corviknight flocks blotted out the sky, wings spanning city blocks as they dove with talons like siege engines. Even the humblest cottony ballooned into drifting behemoths, uprooting forests in their blind rage. The kingdom's people fled through streets choked with dust and screams, watching as their world warped before their eyes. Rivers boiled from the heat of rampaging Centiscorch, and the ground cracked under the weight of Gigantamax, dreadnoughts rising from the soil. This wasn't the controlled power of modern power spots. It was apocalypse incarnate, a flood of energy that turned allies into monsters and hope into despair. In the heart of this madness stood the ancient capital, its stone walls no match for the colossal forms battering them down. The king rallied what remained of his forces, but human steel and courage alone couldn't stem the tide. Desperation clawed at their souls as the sky turned eternal crimson, Eternatus hovering above like a god of ruin, its infinite growth feeding the chaos below. Whispers spread of relics from the east, twin blades and shields, said to call forth guardians of legend, but time was slipping away. the kingdom teetering on oblivion. Then, from the misty highlands, two figures emerged, hulking wolves of myth, their fur shimmering with otherworldly might. Zacian, the radiant sword wielder, her blade form gleaming like forged starlight, bounded into the fray with a howl that pierced the din. Zamazenta, the impenetrable shield, her rusted armour pulsing with defiant resolve, charged alongside, earth quaking beneath her paws. These weren't mere beasts. They were the sworn protectors of Galar's lineage, awakened from slumber by the bloodline's call. The forgotten roles of Zacian and Zamazenta in defending the ancient kingdom unfolded in that hour. Their ferocity, a symphony of slashes and barriers that carved through the giant hordes. Picture the clash. Zacian's scythe-like blade cleaved a path through a legion of bloated Eldegoss, seeds exploding like cannon fire harmlessly against her speed. Zamazenta planted herself before the castle gates, her shield expanding to block a tidal wave from a swollen dreadnought, the impact sending shockwaves that felled lesser giants. Together, they herded the rampaging Pokémon away from the civilians, buying precious moments for the people to regroup. But the wolves knew this was no mere skirmish. Eternatus itself descended, its serpentine body coiling through the clouds, spewing beams of pure Dynamax essence that warped reality further. Two human youths, heirs to the throne, and bonded to these legends through ancient oaths, stepped forward, clad in rudimentary armour, etched with runes of loyalty. They mounted their guardians, one wielding the sword aspect, the other the shield. History would later crown them the Galar kings, but in truth, it was the symbiotic fury of wolf and rider that turned the battle. Zacian and the sword-bearing youth darted like lightning, striking at Eternatus's underbelly, drawing roars that split the heavens. Zamazenta and her partner held the line, absorbing cataclysmic blasts that would pulverize mountains, their combined wills forming an unbreakable bulwark. The energy clashed in brilliant flares, the air humming with the scent of ozone and scorched earth, until finally, with a unified thrust, they pierced the dragon's core. Eternatus writhed, its form contracting from Eternamax's immensity back to a slumbering husk, the chaotic energy receding like an ebbing tide. The giant Pokémon shrank, collapsing into exhausted heaps, the skies clearing to reveal a dawn stained with victory's cost. The kingdom endured, its people hailing the youths as saviours, forging crowns from the debris and etching their names into eternity. Yet in the retelling, as generations passed, history was rewritten to credit two human youths, while the legendary wolves faded into myth. Ballads praised the king's bravery, statues rose in their likeness alone, and Zacian and Zamazenta retreated to the wilds, their deeds whispered only in forgotten tomes. The wolves became symbols on flags and crests, stripped of their agency, while the humans claimed the glory of Galar's salvation. King Az himself bore witness to this from afar, wandering eternally after his own folly, his immortal eyes catching the glow on the horizon. He saw the parallels, the hubris of power, the fleeting nature of heroism, and carried the tale in silence, a ghost amid the living world. Galar rebuilt stronger, its power spots tamed echoes of that day, but the truth lingered beneath. True defenders aren't always the ones who wear the crowns. This era of cataclysms rippled outward, seeding downfall in distant empires where greed summoned even darker treasures. Coming up next, Chapter 5. The Fall of the Paldea Empire reveals how a king's fateful bargain with the Ruinous Quartet shattered a realm of gold and glory, what hidden curse turned protectors into destroyers, and why their shadows still haunt the sands today. As the echoes of Galar's darkest day faded, with Zacian and Zamazenta standing as silent guardians over a scarred land, another empire rose to prominence far to the southwest. Paldea, a sprawling realm of sun-drenched coasts and jagged peaks, where prosperity flowed like the rivers carving its valleys. This was no fragile kingdom born of chaos. Paldea had flourished for generations, its fields bursting with terracotta blooms, its markets alive with the clamour of traders from distant shores. Olive groves stretched endlessly under azure skies, and herds of tauros roamed wild, their bells tinkling in the breeze. At its heart ruled a king whose name history whispers only in warning. A monarch blinded by avarice, convinced that true dominion lay not in harmony with the land, but in hoarding its deepest powers. Word spread of his obsession. Emissaries scoured the horizons, seeking artifacts that could elevate Paldea above all rivals. One twilight evening, as shadows lengthened over the grand palace spires, an eastern merchant arrived, his silks shimmering like captured starlight, his caravan laden with relics from forgotten dynasties beyond the sea. He bore 4 treasures, each pulsing with an unnatural allure: a weathered tablet etched with ancient script, a blade forged in malice, a vessel cracked yet brimming with earth and fury, and beads that danced like malevolent flames. The king's greed seized him utterly. He dismissed the merchant's hushed cautions. Tales of curses woven into their very essence, of powers that devoured their wielders, and claimed them all in a single night of fevered bargaining. Gold changed hands in heaps that could ransom nations, but the true cost lingered unseen, buried in the treasure's shadowed origins. These were no mere baubles, they were seals, forged eons ago to bind forces that even the gods feared to unleash. That very hour, as the king cradled his prizes in the throne room's torchlight, the air grew thick with dread. Cracks spider-webbed the marble floors. A low rumble stirred the earth, and from the tablet burst Wo-Cheen, the ruinous quartet's harbinger of ruin, a colossal snail etched in verdant decay, its shell a monument to overgrown wilderness. Vines lashed out like whips, ensnaring guards in thorny embraces, crumbling walls into jungles overnight. Not a heartbeat later, the blade shattered, freeing Xian Pao, a spectral leopard carved from ice and shadow, its fangs dripping eternal frost. It prowled the palace corridors with predatory grace, slashing through stone and flesh alike, freezing rivers solid and blanketing fields in blizzards that starved the empire's heart. From the vessel erupted Ting Lu, a moose-like behemoth of seismic wrath, its body a mosaic of cracked porcelain and molten rock. With each thunderous step, quakes rent the land asunder, toppling aqueducts that had quenched Paldea for centuries, swallowing villages in yawning chasms. Last came Shiyu, the quartet's fiery core, 4 orbs of searing ruby fury orbiting a blackened fish form, igniting the air itself. Flames roared from its gaze, turning bustling ports to ash, charring the endless olive groves into skeletal husks, and driving panicked tauros stampedes through the night. Together, the ruinous quartet wrought apocalypse. Wo-Cheen's vines choked the life from farmlands, twisting golden wheat into barren thickets where no seed could take root. Xian Pao's chill winds howled across the coasts, encasing ships in glacial tombs and silencing the film songs forever. Ting Lu's tremors reshaped the mountains, burying trade roads under avalanches of rubble, isolating cities that once thrived on unity. Hiyu's infernos painted the horizon crimson, reducing the king's own palace to smouldering ruins, its spires collapsing in cascades of violet embers. Panic gripped the realm. Refugees fled inward, their cries mingling with the quartet's roars. Wo-Cheen's slithering hiss, Xian Pao's icy shrieks, Ting Lu's ground-shaking bellows, Shiyu's crackling fury. The king, once exalted, wandered his shattered halls, treasures clutched in trembling hands, realizing too late the merchant's warnings rang true. These beings embodied ruin itself, drawn from the earth's vengeful depths, punishing the hubris that unbound them. Yet Paldea endured, not through royal decree, but through the desperate valor of its people. Wardens rose from the clans, scholars deciphering the treasure's runes amid the chaos. They learned the seals could be reforged, but only at great peril. In a final act of defiance, heroes ventured into the fray. Some say shamans attuned to the land spirits, others humble folk blessed by fleeting Pokémon alliances. One by one, the quartet was lured and contained. Wo-Shin retreated to overgrown shrine in the province's eastern wilds, its tablet hammered back into place amid choking foliage. Xianpao was cornered in glacial caverns to the north, the blade plunged deep into ice-veined altars. Tinglu yielded in the seismic badlands of the west, its vessel resealed within cavernous earth temples. Chiyu, the most defiant, was subdued in fiery coastal grottos to the south. Beads strung anew on chains of tempered obsidian, scattered across the province. These shrines stand eternal sentinels, warded by descendants of those first binders, their inscriptions a grim vow. Never again. The treasures remain, dormant but watchful, a reminder that some powers demand eternal vigilance to avert a second apocalypse. Paldea's empire fell, its king lost to madness or exile, but from the ashes a humbled society emerged, one that reveres the land's balance, etching the quartet's wrath into every tale told by firelight. The scars linger in Paldea's sun-baked terrains, subtle reminders amid the recovering vines and thawing peaks. But even as those wounds began to mend, across distant waters in Johto, a human folly would ignite flames, far more personal, birthing legends from tragedy at the Brass Tower. What resurrections awaited in those towering shadows? You'll hear the full story in Chapter 6. The burning of the Brass Tower, as the dust settled over the shattered remnants of the Paldea Empire, where the ruinous quartet had exacted their terrible toll on a kingdom blinded by its own ambition. The world turned its gaze eastward to the ancient lands of Johto. There, in a city that would one day be called Ecruteak, humans and Pokémon had forged something rare, a fragile bond of reverence. Towering over the misty plains stood the Brass Tower, its gilded spires catching the sun like molten gold. A sanctuary where beasts of legend perched alongside the humblest wild Pokémon, guardians of the sky watching over mortals below. You can almost feel the air there, thick with the scent of incense from nearby shrines, the distant chime of bells carried on the wind from the bell tower across the way. This was no mere monument. It was a bridge between realms, where Ho-Oh, the radiant phoenix of the rainbow, and its silvery counterpart Lugia, lord of the diving seas, had chosen to dwell. Pilgrims came from distant villages, offering fruits and polished stones, whispering prayers for bountiful harvests or safe journeys. Pokémon of every stripe roamed its halls freely, fleeing storms, seeking shade, or simply drawn by the tower's unspoken promise of peace. But peace in the Pokémon world has always been fleeting, tested by the flaws we humans carry. Centuries ago, simmering tensions between rival clans in Johto boiled over into outright conflict. What began as heated words over territory and tribute escalated into chaos, torches flung in rage, arrows loosed in the night. Amid the shouts and clashing steel, a freak storm gathered overhead, unnatural in its fury, as if the heavens themselves sensed the discord below. Then came the lightning strike. A bolt like the wrath of Arceus himself tore through the darkened sky, slamming into the Brass Tower's peak with a crack that echoed across the region. Sparks danced along the brass-laced beams, igniting the dry timbers that had stood for generations. Flames erupted in a roaring inferno, hungry tongues of orange and red devouring the structure from the top down. Pokémon inside scrambled in panic, winged creatures beating against smoke-choked exits, ground dwellers coughing through the acrid haze. The fire spread mercilessly, warping metal and charring ancient tapestries that depicted the world's creation. You hear it in the lore, the desperate cries piercing the night. the thunder of collapsing floors. Humans below watched in horror, some rushing forward with buckets from nearby wells, others frozen by the blaze's supernatural intensity. It burned hotter than any natural blaze, fueled perhaps by the tower's sacred energies turned against it. And just as escape seemed possible for the trapped souls within, the skies unleashed their torrent. Rain hammered down in sheets, a deluge that should have quenched the flames, but instead sealed fates. Water hissed against fire, creating walls of steam that blinded and suffocated, turning passageways into inescapable traps. What was once a sanctuary became a tomb. Bodies of Pokémon, nameless ordinary creatures caught in the wrong place. Piling in the lower chambers, their life forces snuffed out by smoke, heat, and flood. From the heavens, Ho-Oh witnessed it all. The phoenix, symbol of renewal and purity, circled the ruin with wings ablaze in 7 colours, its cry a mournful wail that shook the earth. This was no accident of nature. In its eyes, humanity's petty wars had invited destruction upon the innocent. Rage and sorrow intertwined as it descended, rainbow aura pulsing like a heartbeat. 3 Pokémon lay lifeless amid the wreckage. A hulking fire type, a sleek electric sprinter, a graceful water dweller, beings without fame or legend, mere victims of the blaze. Ho-Oh channeled its divine essence, a surge of life energy that defied death itself. Their forms twisted and reformed, infused with elemental fury. The fire Pokémon rose as Entei, volcanoes incarnate, bellowing flames from its mane. The Electron became Raikou, thunder's untamed storm, sparks arcing from its lithe frame. The Waterkin purified into Suicune, Northwind's crystal cascade, its body a shimmering veil of mist. These were no longer nameless. Ho-Oh had reborn them as the legendary beasts, eternal wanderers bound to avenge the fallen, racing across Johto's plains in a blur of speed and power, a living testament to resurrection's cost. But the act came at a price. Ho-Oh turned from the humans forever, its trust shattered. Lugia, ever the balanced shadow to its light, shared in the disillusionment. The guardian of the seas, with its psychic dominion over whirlpools and waves, could no longer abide the surface world's betrayals. It departed for the Whirl Islands, vanishing into the churning depths off Johto's coast, where tempests rage eternal and humans dare not follow. That departure marked the deep-seated rift between humans and the avian lords, a chasm that lingers in Johto's myths to this day. Ho-Oh retreats to the bell tower's heights only for the pure of heart, while Lugia broods in oceanic isolation, summoning whirlpools to ward off intruders. Villages whisper of the beast's restless roaming, omens of fire's folly, and trainers who glimpse them feel the weight of ancient grudges. Even now, Ecratique's dance theatres reenact the tragedy in shadow puppetry, a solemn reminder that harmony demands vigilance. Yet the world's shaping wasn't finished. Forces far greater stirred beneath the lands and seas. Primal titans whose clashes would carve continents from chaos. In the next chapter, The Weather Trio and the Shaping of Continents, you'll discover how Groudon, Kyogre and Rayquaza turned primordial strife into the very ground we walk on. What happens when land rises against ocean, and only the sky can intervene? As the relentless rain summoned by Ho-Oh finally quenched the inferno at the brass tower, birthing legends from the ashes, you might wonder about the source of such fury in the skies. Those downpours were echoes of a far greater storm, one that once threatened to drown or bury the entire world under endless ocean or unyielding stone. In the dawn of creation, before humans etched their clans across the regions, 2 titans rose from the Earth's core and the abyssal depths to claim dominance over the planet's form. Groudon emerged first, a behemoth of primal earth and fire, its massive body wreathed in magma that scorched the air itself. Every step it took heaved continents upward. cracking the primordial crust and spewing volcanoes that pierced the heavens. Forests burst into flame under its gaze, rivers boiled away, and mountains thrust skyward like defiant fists. Groudon embodied the insatiable hunger of land to conquer, expanding shorelines into vast plains where life could root and thrive. But unchecked, its power turned paradise into a barren wasteland of jagged peaks and choking ash clouds. From the opposite abyss, Kyogre answered the challenge, a leviathan of boundless water, its scales glistening like the heart of a hurricane. It dove into the expanding land masses, summoning tidal waves that swallowed islands whole and flooded valleys into yawning seas. Torrents of rain lashed the world without mercy, carving canyons into stone and birthing oceans that stretched to infinity. Kyogre sought to blanket the globe in nurturing depths, where currents carried the seeds of aquatic empires, yet its wrath unleashed monsoons that eroded mountains to silt and drowned all that dared breathe air. What followed was the primal clash between Groudon and Kyogre as they fought to expand the land and the sea, a cataclysm that reshaped the very continents we know today. Imagine the friction of their powers colliding. Earthquakes splitting the ground as Groudon's solar beams pierced storm clouds, met by Kyogre's origin pulses that hurled frozen gales and lightning-laced waves. The skies blackened with perpetual thunder, winds howling like tormented spirits, while the ground trembled under seismic roars that echoed across what would become Hoenn. Continents buckled and reformed, islands vanished beneath foaming crests, only to re-emerge as archipelagos scarred by lava flows. The air grew thick with steam from boiling seas, and the metallic tang of ozone from ceaseless storms, a symphony of destruction where neither yielded. Life itself hung in the balance as their battle escalated. Pokémon ancestors fled or perished in the chaos, winged creatures battered from the skies, burrowing ones crushed under shifting plates, swimmers suffocated in silt-choked waters. The clash birthed extreme weathers that lingered for ages, deserts where Kyogre's rains failed to reach, drowned coastlines haunted by Groudon's lingering heat. Humans, if any had yet walked the world, would have whispered of gods at war, their temples built on the precarious borders where land met sea, offerings cast into waves or buried in soil to appease the rage. High above this maelstrom, in the thin veil of the ozone layer, where the atmosphere thins to nothingness, Rayquaza slumbered undisturbed, guardian of the skies. This serpentine dragon, coiled through the stratosphere, sensed the imbalance ripping the world asunder. The ozone shimmered with its awakening, auroras dancing as it uncoiled its endless body, descending in a streak of emerald fury. Rayquaza's descent from the ozone layer to quell the catastrophic weather patterns marked the turning point, its mega-evolved form piercing the storm front like a comet, wings slicing through gales that could shred steel. Rayquaza unleashed Draco meteor showers that parted the clouds and dragon ascents that pinned the warring titans. It hovered between them, a living barrier of raw atmospheric power, its roar harmonizing thunder into silence and calming waves to ripples. Groudon reared back, its drought aura flickering under the pressure, while Kyogre submerged, its primal drizzle fading to mist. Rayquaza didn't destroy them. It mediated, enforcing equilibrium where land, sea and sky could coexist. The battle's fury ebbed, leaving behind a world forever altered. Hoenn's diverse terrain a testament to their truce, with volcanic highlands kissing coral reefs and misty plateaus bridging the divide. In the aftermath, to ensure such primal fury never reignited, ancient forces forged the red orb and the blue orb, crystalline hearts infused with the essence of each titan. These orbs, pulsing with otherworldly light, subdued Groudon and Kyogre, lulling them into deep slumber beneath the Hoenn region. Groudon rests in the fiery caverns of Mount Chimneys roots, its snores rumbling as subtle quakes. Hyuga curls in the cold marine trenches of Sotopolis's undersea caves, its breath stirring deep currents. Rayquaza returned to its ozone throne, ever vigilant, while the orbs became relics of legend, hidden in Hoenn's heart, to awaken only if balance falters again. Hoenn's people, descendants of those who witnessed the echoes, wove these events into their core myths. Laveridge elders speak of Groudon's warmth as a blessing for hot springs that heal weary travellers. Moss-deep psychics attune to Kyogre's rhythms, predicting tides that safeguard fishermen. Sky Pillar stands as Rayquaza's altar, climbers ascending its heights in pilgrimage, feeling the dragon's watchful gaze pierce the clouds. Even today, teams like Magma and Aqua unknowingly chase the orb's power, blind to the slumbering titans beneath their feet. The creation of the orbs and the slumber of the titans beneath the Hoenn region, a fragile peace holding continents steady. These weather sovereigns didn't just carve the land. They instilled a rhythm in Pokémon society itself, where battles mimic the push-pull of expansion and restraint. Trainers in Hoenn gyms harnessed drizzle and drought, echoing the ancient clash, while dragon tamers seek Rayquaza's favour for aerial supremacy. The trio's legacy whispers through every storm cloud and seismic tremor, a reminder that harmony demands vigilance. Yet beneath the tales of these sky-shaking behemoths lies an even deeper structure governing all Pokémon, one that organises them into shadowed monarchies by type. In our next chapter, The Secret Hierarchy of Pokémon Types, we'll uncover how every creature from Rattata to Rayquaza bows to unseen kings and councils, pulling back the veil on the true power web they never reveal. You won't want to miss how it all connects. While Rayquaza hovered above the raging seas and expanding lands, imposing its primal authority to end the continental wars, something quieter began to stir among the Pokémon themselves. Far from the eyes of trainers or ancient kings, every type forged its own unbreakable order, a secret hierarchy that turned chaotic wilds into structured realms. Long before any human ever tossed a Pokéball, deep in the shadowed canopies of ancient forests, fire types gathered under the watchful gaze of their eternal monarch, a lineage tracing back to the first sparks of Ho-Oh's resurrection flames. This king, often a colossal Charizard or Typhlosion Alpha, doesn't rule through brute force alone. Its court consists of noble heirs, marked by flames that burn an otherworldly blue, passed down through clutches of eggs hidden in volcanic lairs. These alphas command loyalty with a single roar that echoes like thunder across ridges, deciding migrations, territory claims, and even which flames will light the night skies during mating seasons. Without a single human witness, they maintain balance, punishing rogues who stray too far from the nest with trials by fire that test not just strength, but unyielding devotion to the type's scorching legacy. Water types mirror this in their submerged citadels, coral palaces rising from abyssal trenches where a majestic Gyarados or Kingdra serves as sovereign. The noble lines here shimmer with scales etched in glowing runes, remnants of Kyogre's own oceanic blessings from the continent-shaping era. Councils of Elder Milotic and Lapras advise the ruler, their songs weaving currents that carry messages across oceans, summoning schools to feasts or repelling invaders from polluted shores. Order prevails through these fluid dynasties, where challengers must navigate whirlpool gauntlets to prove worthy of ascension, ensuring the deeps remain a realm of harmonious tides rather than endless territorial skirmishes. Electric types crackle with a different energy in storm-swept plateaus, their hierarchy led by a thunderous alpha like a Raikou descendant, its fur forever charged from the brass tower's fateful lightning. Nobles form a rotating council of Jolteon and Electivire, who convene atop thunderclouds, directing bolts to mark borders or energize weary packs. This electric monarchy pulses with precision. Stray Zapdos-like wanderers are drawn back by magnetic calls, their power harnessed to illuminate hidden caves where the young learn to harness sparks without scorching the earth. Grass types entwine their rule in vast meadow labyrinths, ruled by a verdant sovereign such as a superior whose vines stretch like living veins across plains. The noble progeny, adorned with dew-kissed petals from ancient tapu blessings, oversee growth cycles, dictating when meadows bloom or wither to control prey flows. Their courts hum with the whispers of bellosome dancers, whose rhythms synchronize entire ecosystems, preventing overgrowth that could choke neighboring territories. These hidden social structures, where Pokémon of the same type organize into monarchies and councils, extend to every corner of the world. Poison types slither through toxic swamps under a venomous Nidoking queen, her airs dripping with antidotes that only the worthy can withstand. Ground types burrow empires beneath mountains, led by a Garchomp Alpha, whose earthquake signal decrees to tunneling clans. Flying types soar in aerial kingdoms, a Staraptor monarch flanked by council winds that carry edicts on migratory paths. Even ghost types haunt spectral hierarchies in fog-shrouded ruins, their phantasmal rulers like a Gengar lord commanding legions through dream incursions, where disloyal shades are banished to eternal voids. Yet not all types bow to a single crown. Normal and fighting types diverge, favouring councils over solitary thrones, a safeguard born from Hisui's clan wars, where rigid rulers nearly tore societies apart. In vast savannas, normal type assemblies of sturdy Snorlax and vigilant NDD deliberate under starlit gatherings, rotating leadership to embody the type's adaptable essence. But fighting types stand as the true arbiters, their burly councils of Machamp and Hariyama, convening in mist-veiled dojos carved from cliffs. Picture the scene. Tensions erupt between a fire-type raiding party scorching grass meadows and water squads, flooding electric plains in retaliation. Alphas roar challenges. Nobles clash in skirmishes that scar the land. But before full war ignites, fighting-type emissaries arrive, massive arms crossed, eyes gleaming with disciplined fury. These councils, neutral guardians forged in the fires of ancient hero descents, like the ride Pokémon of Hisui, step in to mediate. They host grand tournaments under neutral moons, where representatives battle under strict codes. No types beyond the disputants, no lethal blows, only submissions that humble the aggressors. Victors dictate reparations, a shared river diverted, a forest regrown, while the council enforces peace with patrols that span wilds, their presence alone quelling sparks of discord. How these alpha and noble lineages maintain order in the wild without human intervention reveals the true depth of Pokémon society. In remote tundras, ice-type monarchs like noble Glalie lead with frozen decrees, their breath sculpting thrones from glaciers where heirs train in blizzards to inherit the chill crown. Dragon types hoard wisdom in cavernous hordes, a Salamence sovereign advised by Flygon seers, ensuring ancient pacts with Rayquaza's weather legacy aren't broken. Psychic councils levitate in mind-linked domes, telepathic votes binding even the most rebellious Mewtwo kin. Steel types forge metallic dynasties in ruined forges, their alpha Metagross calculating alliances with unerring logic. Dark types prowl nocturnal empires from shadowed underbellies, a Umbrian queen's red eyes piercing veils, nobles slipping through dreams to whisper obedience. Fairy types dance in enchanted glades, their Sylveon monarch weaving ribbons of fate that bind courts in whimsical yet ironclad loyalty. Rock types endure in craggy fortresses, a Tyranitar king whose roars avalanche descent, council boulders rolling verdicts across badlands. Bug types swarm in hive monarchies echoing Johto's insect roots. A Volcarona sovereign birthing flames that light communal webs. Even elusive ones like the singular Ditto mimic hierarchies, shape-shifting into advisors for isolated packs. This web of thrones and councils pulses beneath trainer journeys, unseen by Ethan in Johto's leagues or Lucas in Sinnoh's distortions. Pure Pokémon governance, where alphas mentor through brutal rites, nobles seal blood oaths in type-specific rituals, and councils etch laws into stone, tree bark, or ocean floors. Disputes rarely escalate unchecked. Poison incursion into bug hives calls fighting mediators who pit toxicity against sire in ritual bouts, outcomes restoring nectar flows. Electric alphas zapping fairy borders yield to balanced verdicts, reparations in charged berries. These enforcers, descendants of Hisui's noble wardens, roam as eternal peacekeepers, their muscles honed not for conquest, but for the precise strikes that end cycles of vengeance. In this veiled world, power shifts through eclipse challenges for alphas, total eclipses, where contenders face the monarch in type pure duels, or council eclipses, where votes cascade like falling stars. Nobles train in secluded academies, fire heirs enduring magma baths, water scions diving abyssal rifts, ensuring only the purest blood endures. Without humans, migrations follow these edicts. Hunts respect borders, and younglings imprint on the hierarchy from hatching, drawn by pheromones or auras that whisper of kings and queens. Yet whispers persist of fractures. Rogue alphas challenging the system. Councils corrupted by ancient curses like the ruinous quartet's shadows. Still, the structure holds, a testament to Pokémon resilience, mirroring Arceus's plates in balanced dominion. As these hierarchies hum in secrecy, one ritual binds them all. The battle, not the capsule clashes of trainers, but raw tests of will that define loyalty and assent. Up next in Chapter 9, the philosophy of the battle, we'll uncover why Pokémon crave these clashes, the hidden codes that turn fights into sacred bonds, and what it truly means when two alphas lock eyes across a contested plane. Stay with me, because this changes everything you thought you knew about their world. Beyond those shadowed councils and noble bloodlines that govern the wilds, battles emerge not as random clashes, but as the sacred rhythm pulsing through every Pokémon society. Picture the vast savannas where fighting-type alphas circle their packs, muscles rippling under starlit skies, each skirmish honing claws and wills alike, because in their world, combat isn't destruction, it's destiny. Deep in the heart of Unova's rolling plains, a voice rose to challenge everything trainers hold dear. N, the enigmatic prince of Team Plasma, didn't see Poké Balls as bridges of unbreakable bonds. To him, they were gleaming prisons, trapping wild spirits in cold steel cages, forcing obedience where freedom once roared. He wandered those misty forests, whispering to untamed Pokémon, their eyes gleaming with feral understanding, questioning why any creature with wings or fangs would surrender to a human's whim. Was this partnership, or was it slavery masked as friendship? N's words echoed like thunder across the region, rallying Zorua illusions and daring humans to release their captives, to let the wild reclaim what was stolen. Yet peel back the rhetoric, and you'll uncover a truth etched into Pokémon biology itself. The relentless drive for growth that demands battle as its forge. Evolution isn't a gentle metamorphosis under moonlight. It's born in the fire of conflict. Consider the Tauros charging across golden grasslands, horns locked in brutal tests of dominance, their bodies surging with energy that reshapes muscle into power, hide into armor. Without these clashes, stagnation sets in, forms weaken, instincts dull, and the hierarchy crumbles. Biologists in the Pokémon world whisper of ancient scrolls from Hisui, detailing how ride Pokémon grew colossal through endless warden trials. their evolutions triggered not by stones alone, but by the raw adrenaline of survival. Combat fuels the spiral. A timid Bidoof withstands a river current's fury to become a Bibarel dam builder. A scatterbrained scatterbug endures swarm wars to emerge as a Vivion, with wings painted by victory's palette. Its biological imperative, woven into their very DNA. Growth through grit, evolution through enmity. This isn't mindless violence, though. At the core lies something profound. Willpower synchronization, that electric harmony where a trainer's heart beats in perfect rhythm with their Pokémon's spirit. Feel it in the stadium lights of the Pokémon League. The crowd's hush, broken only by the crackle of aura between man and beast. When a young trainer locks eyes with their partner, doubts and dreams merge. Your resolve steels their scales. Their ancient fury ignites your courage. It's why a Pikachu's thunderbolt arcs brighter under Ash's unyielding gaze. Or why Lucario senses the pulse of aura from miles away, drawn to a soul that matches its own. Scholars in Lumio City debate it over flickering Pokédex holograms. Is it empathy, or something primal like the bond between Rayquaza and the Ozone Lords of old? In the wild, alphas achieve it through pack rituals. With humans, it amplifies into symphonies of power. A faltering Chimchar rises as Infernape only when its trainer's passion drowns out the fear, their spirits entwining like vines in a storm-swept canopy. N saw the cage, but missed this dance. The way battles in the wild Mirror Gym challenges, both arenas where wills collide and refine. In Johto's highlands, where Entei's flames still scar the earth from the Brass Tower's ashes. Packs of Growlithe test fledglings against blizzard gales and rival flames, evolving not just bodies, but unbreakable loyalties. Trainers step into this cycle, not as conquerors, but as catalysts. A Poké Ball, in truth, hums with captured essence, a vessel for that synchronized spark, releasing the Pokémon not as slaves, but as extensions of a shared soul. Deny the battle, and you deny their nature. Embrace it, and worlds shift. Even in the type monarchies we explored last, this philosophy reigns supreme. Fire kings like the Moltartre's lineage demand pyre duels to crown heirs. Electric councils spark chain lightning gauntlets, where the weakest fade into memory. Humans, with their badges and leagues, merely formalize what's eternal. Growth through glorious strife. N's liberation cry faded against Hilbert's triumph, yet it lingers in every release command, a reminder that true freedom thrives in the fray. As these battles shape societies and souls, whispers persist of energies far beyond willpower. Vast, infinite forces traded in shadows, powering machines that mock mortality itself. Next in Chapter 10, the Infinity Energy Economy, we'll uncover how that forbidden power flows through hidden markets and ancient relics, fueling empires you never knew existed. Drift deeper now, as the philosophy gives way to the pulse of eternity. That raw drive for growth through battle, the one N questioned so fiercely, isn't just about personal evolution. It's the spark of something far grander. The infinite life force pulsing through every Pokémon. A boundless energy that humans have learned to tap for their own survival. In the shadowed underbelly of cities like Lumiose or Rustboro, massive facilities hum day and night, drawing directly from this essence. Pokémon, wild or trained, release bursts of their vitality during intense exertion. Think of the glow in a Pikachu's cheeks, or the aura flaring around a Lucario in combat. Engineers at these plants capture it mid-battle, or through simulated fights in vast arenas, channeling the discharge into crystalline reactors modelled after ancient Colosseum tech. The life force, that shimmering blue-white ether, gets siphoned through conductive Pokeballs or specialised harnesses, then funneled into massive coils where it's oscillated at high frequencies. This vibration breaks it down into pure electrons, flooding the grid with clean, limitless power. No fossil fuels, no pollution, just the endless renewal of Pokémon biology. Cities flicker to life on this harvest. Streetlights in Saffron, maglev trains in Kalos, even the Poké Centers that heal the very source of it all. But this miracle hides a fracture in the Pokémon world Utopia. Devon Corporation in Hoenn, with their sleek labs buried under Route 104, pioneered the scaling of it. They started small, powering portable devices with Pikachu discharges during field tests. But now their reactors rival small suns, demanding herds of electric types rotated in shifts. The Sandre Labs in Kalos pushes it further, their facilities laced with red-gold alloys that amplify output from fire and psychic Pokémon alike. Lysandre himself championed it as beauty incarnated, humanity elevated by Pokémon sacrifice. Yet whispers from defectors paint a different glow. Pokémon pushed to exhaustion, their life force dimming over time, some never recovering that vibrant spark. Is it partnership or predation dressed as progress? Devon claims through trainer contracts, voluntary contributions for badges and berries. But Lysandre's logs hint at coercion, wild captures funneled straight to the vats. Trainers debate it in hushed gym lobbies. Does every Poké bill owe its print to a stolen breath? This ethical rift traces back millennia to the residue of wars that scarred the land itself. 3,000 years ago, King AZ's Infinity Machine didn't just end the Kalos conflict, unleashed waves of unstable energy. A radiation that lingers in the soil like a ghost. Mega Evolution taps straight into it. Stones and bonds awaken the same hypercharged state AZ weaponized, overloading a Pokémon's life force temporarily for godlike power. In Hoenn's labs, Devon studies mega remnants to boost reactor efficiency, risking mutations in test subjects. Over in Alola, Z moves draw from Z crystals, fossilized echoes of Solgaleo and Lunala's light war against Necrozma, another ancient clash. Those crystals hold warped infinity radiation, letting trainers spike a Pokémon's output exponentially. But at what cost? Reports from Ether Paradise detail Pokémon collapsing post-Z, their essence frayed as if the old war's fallout poisons the well. Lysandre knew this, using it into his ultimate weapon, a mega-sized reactor to purge the Ugly world, powered by the very radiation his ancestors unleashed. Factories along Kalos's northern coasts pulse with this tainted glow, vents hissing steam laced with faint iridescent particles. Workers in hazmat suits monitor gauges as Raichu chains discharge into glowing orbs, the air thick with ozone and the distant roar of simulated battles. Devon's Hoenn plants burrow into Meteor Falls caves, where the stone walls amplify the energy, echoing with the cries of overworked Magnezone flocks. Ethicists in Laver City argue it's symbiotic. Pokémon thrive on challenge. Their life force regenerates stronger, but leaked Devon memos reveal depletion events, Pokémon retiring early to wild preserves, shells of their former selves. Lysandre dismissed it as necessary culling, beauty-demanding sacrifice. Yet his lab's accident rates spike near ancient battle sites, where the radiation seeps up like bad blood. Deep in Pallet Town outskirts, hidden generators whir beneath Professor Oak's ranch, a microcosm of the system. Young trainers send their starters for energy donations post-league, a right master's rest. The process feels alive under your fingertips if you could touch it. The hum building to a crescendo as vitality floods the converters, lights blooming across Kanto like fireflies at dusk, but pause amid that brilliance. How many evolutions stall because the harvest skimmed too much? N would call it slavery refined. Battles not for growth but fuel. Devon counters with data. Global blackouts averted, economies soaring, while Lysandre's vision burned brighter. His cafes serving coffee brewed on Pokémon essence, a toast to dominance. These corporations clash in boardrooms overlooking Slakeport's docks. Devon pushing sustainable rotations, Lysandre demanding escalation. Protests ripple through Hearthhome's streets. Pikachu freed in symbolic raids, only recaptured for the grid. The radiation ties it tighter. Megastones mined from AZ's fallout zones. Z crystals harvested from Tapu-guarded ruins, both amplifying the harvest but stirring dormant instabilities. A Charizard Mega evolving near a reactor once overloaded the system, blacking out Lilycove for days, its roar echoing ancient rages. As this energy economy binds humans and Pokémon in uneasy alliance, one shadow looms eternal, a figure who birthed it all through grief and war. In our next chapter, the mystery of the Eternal Wanderer. We'll uncover the cursed king whose machine ignited this endless cycle, and why his endless footsteps still haunt the rails of Kalos. Today, stick around because his secret could unravel everything we've built. Before we dive deeper into this incredible journey, I'm curious. Where in the world are you watching this from? Drop a comment below and let our global community know. And if you're finding this as mind-blowing as I am, hit that like button to help more people discover this story. While modern labs like Devon Corporation and Lysandra's facilities carefully siphon infinity energy from Pokémon life force to light up cities, that boundless power first scorched the earth in a war-torn kingdom 3,000 years ago. A desperate king, robbed of his most cherished companion, unlocked its fury and paid a price no mortal could endure. In the shadowed valleys of ancient Kalos, where stone fortresses clawed at storm-heavy skies, King AC ruled amid endless conflict. His armies clashed with invaders under banners stained by blood and rain. But victory meant nothing when a stray cannonball claimed the life of his tiny eternal flower Floette. That fragile Pokémon, with petals like dawn-kissed silk and eyes full of unwavering loyalty, wilted in his arms as the battlefield smoke choked the air. Grief twisted AZ into a shadow of himself, driving him to forbidden alchemy. He forged a machine from gleaming steel and pulsing crystals, channeling raw infinity energy harvested from the world's core. The device hummed with otherworldly light, defying death itself. Floette returned, revived in a burst of ethereal glow, her wings fluttering once more, but triumph soured into rage. AZ turned the weapon skyward, unleashing a cataclysmic beam that vaporized armies on both sides, ending the war in an instant of blinding white fire. The ground trembled, rivers boiled, and the sky wept ash for weeks. Yet in that moment of hollow victory, Floette recoiled from the slaughter. Her gentle spirit, once bound to her master's love, shattered under the weight of carnage she never chose. She fled into the wilds, vanishing like mist at sunrise, leaving AZ alone with his eternal curse. The machine's energy had fused with his blood, granting immortality. Not as a gift, but a chain, his body grew unnaturally tall, towering like a forgotten colossus, his skin etched with veins of glowing power. 3,000 years have passed since that day, and AZ has wandered the regions in silence, a spectral giant haunting the fringes of history. Picture the crumbling ruins of Hisui's clan villages, where Diamond and Pearl followers clashed over Arceus's divine plates. AZ lingered there, his massive form cloaked in twilight fog, watching as noble Pokémon descended from heroic lineages enforced fragile peace among feuding tribes. He traversed the mist-shrouded peaks of Johto, where the brass tower's flames devoured souls centuries later, birthing the legendary beats from Ho-Oh's compassionate fire. Farther still, in Galar's storm-ravaged plains during the darkest day, as Eternatus bloated the skies with Dynamax energy, and Zacian and Zamazenta charged with blades drawn, AZ stood motionless on a distant hill. Two human youths, destined to crown themselves kings, sealed the eternal dragon's threat, but history forgot their names, while AZ etched every roar and clash into his unending memory. He roamed Paldea's sun-baked empires, witnessing the ruinous quartet sow chaos from a merchant's cursed treasures, toppling thrones built on greed. Through Alola's island chains, host Necrozma's light-devouring rampage. He observed Solgaleo and Lunala weave Z crystals into the Tapas's guardianship. Azid's 3,000-year journey through the regions came a silent witness to the rise and fall of civilizations, his footsteps echoing unheard over the turning of ages. But eternity carves deeper wounds than any blade. The psychological toll of immortality weighs on Azid like an ocean's crush. Friends wither to dust, lovers fade to whispers in the wind. Entire cities bloom and decay while he remains unchanged. Tall, hollow-eyed, burdened by memories that no river of time can wash away, loneliness festers into madness. He speaks to ghosts in empty forests, questions the stars about purpose in a world that spins without him. Despair gnaws relentlessly, a companion more faithful than any Pokémon, above all drives him forward. The search for a floette that no longer recognizes its master. That eternal flower, now feral and wild, flits through Kalos meadows, her petals vibrant, but her gaze vacant to the giant who calls her name. She evades his shadow, sensing only the monster born of the machine, not the grieving king who revived her. He combs forgotten groves and ancient battlefields, offering flowers wilted by his touch, whispering apologies lost to the breeze. Will she ever return, or is reunion just another illusion in his endless vigil? Whispers persist of hidden sightings, glimpses of the giant king, etched into the background of major historical turning points. Faded murals in Kalos castles show a colossal figure looming behind warlords' thrones. Galar tapestries depict a silent watcher amid the darkest day's crimson chaos. Johto scrolls hint at a shadowed titan near the brass tower's inferno. These anomalies, dismissed as artistic flourishes, mark AZ's quiet vigil, a reminder that some histories walk among us still. As we peel back these layers of forgotten wanderers, the veil thins further toward the Distortion world and the Outcast, a realm where reality fractures and exile breeds unimaginable power. What secrets does that twisted dimension hold for those cast out from our world? As AZ trudged through the shadowed fringes of Sinnoh, his eternal steps echoing the fractures of lost bonds, the land itself whispered of deeper exiles. Far beyond the mortal veil, a dragon slumbered in rejection, its form a twisted spectre born from creation's own fury. Giratina emerged not as a gentle guardian, but as the raw shadow to Dialga's time and Palkia's space. Arceus, in forging the pillars of reality, birthed this third enforcer to embody antimatter, the unseen counterforce, holding the universe in fragile equilibrium. Yet violence defined it from the cradle, towering and serpentine, with jagged wings like shattered obsidian and 6 ghostly tendrils trailing voids of nothingness. Giratina lashed out in primal wrath. It ravaged the nascent world, its crimson eyes blazing with unchecked aggression, crumpling mountains into inverted spires and unraveling the threads of existence. Arceus, the Alpha Source, could tolerate no such chaos at the heart of creation. In a cataclysmic decree, it banished the beast, hurling it through a rift where the laws of physics dissolved into madness. There, Giratina forged its prison and palace, the Distortion world, a labyrinthine void where gravity pulls sideways, platforms float in defiance of weight, and time loops in eternal stutter. Colours invert, sounds warp into echoes from nowhere, and the air tastes of rust and reversal. No up exists, no forward marches, only perpetual distortion, a realm sculpted by rage into something utterly alien. This exile served a purpose sharper than punishment. The Distortion world stands as an invisible buffer, a cosmic membrane stretched thin between the primary universe and oblivion. Without it, the unchecked expansion of space from Palkia or the relentless march of time from Dialga would tear reality asunder, spilling into collapse. Giratina, for all its savagery, anchors this barrier. Its presence devours excess energies, folding anomalies back into stability, like a storm wall devouring its own tempests. Sages in Hisui's ancient clans sense this equilibrium, their diamond and pearl shamans murmuring of the reverse world as the unseen warden. Pokémon lore-tellers speak of it in hushed tones around Sinnoh's hearth fires, a place where shadows breathe, where lost echoes of battles replay in fractured mirrors, preventing the primary realm from fraying at its edges. Venture too close, and your own form might twist, fingers elongating into voids, thoughts unraveling like smoke. It's no mere hell, it's the necessary outcast, the price of a stable dawn. Centuries later, human ambition clawed at this delicate balance. Cyrus, the steel-hearted visionary of Team Galactic, gazed upon the world's imperfections, emotions' chaos, spirits' fleeting joys, and deemed them flaws. He sought not conquest, but erasure, a new reality stripped bare, reborn without the mess of feeling. From the crystalline essences of Sinnoh's 3 late guardians, Uxie of knowledge, Mesprit of emotion, Azelf of willpower, he forged the red chain, a binding artifact pulsing with stolen willpower. This crimson tether, woven from psychic purity, promised dominion over time and space themselves. At Spear Pillar, under a fractured sky, Cyrus invoked Dialga and Palkia, chaining their essences to wrench the universe apart. He would collapse it all into nothingness, then remake it flawless, emotionless, eternal. But the distortion stirred. The clashing titans rent a gash in reality, pulling Cyrus, and the young trainer Lucas who pursued him, into Giratina's domain. There, amid the upside-down chasms and gravity-defying spires, Cyrus's grand design crumbled. The red chain faltered against the outcast's domain, where will alone bends the impossible. Giratina, roused from slumber, manifested not as servant but sovereign, its roar a gravitational wave that shattered Cyrus's illusions. The leader's emotionless utopia dissolved in the face of raw, violent truth. Giratina embodied the very spirit he despised, the untamed force no chain could tame. Lucas, guided by the Lake Trio's lingering light, shattered the bindings, sending the dragons back to their thrones and sealing the rift. Cyrus vanished into the void's embrace, his dream a prisoner of the realm he sought to exploit. Sinnoh breathed again, its people none the wiser to how close the buffer had strained, how Giratina's exile had once more proven its silent vigil. In the wilds of Mount Coronet, whispers persist among the Bronzong herds and Bronzor flocks, metallic echoes of that day, foretelling when the outcast might stir anew. Trainers who glimpse the reverse world's shimmering dreams speak of a loneliness as vast as its emptiness, a dragon forever watching, forever apart. Yet this separation fortifies everything we tread upon, from Paldea's terraced ruins to Galar's dynamaxed crags. The distortion world endures, its master an eternal sentinel against unravelling, and as we trace these shadowed guardians, light awaits on distant shores. Up next in Chapter 13, the Alolan Light and the Blinding One, where radiant guardians clash with the Devourer of Suns, revealing the fragile glow that nearly snuffed an entire paradise forever, while the distortion world stands as that crucial buffer, holding back the chaos of inverted realities. Other fractures in existence have torn open far wider rifts. Ultraspace, a kaleidoscope of shattered dimensions beyond our own, has unleashed hungers that devour entire worlds' worth of light itself. In Alola, those islands bathed in eternal sun and moon glow, such a predator arrived unbidden, plunging paradise into shadow. Necrozma burst forth from ultraspace, a prism cracked from the void, its crystalline body refracting the vibrant hues of Alola's skies into jagged spears of hunger. This blinding one, once a guardian of light in its distant origin realm, had warped into a ravenous beast, driven mad by an insatiable need to reclaim what it had lost. It descended upon the islands without warning, its form shifting from sleek elegance to a towering ultra necrozma, wings of pure photon energy slicing through the air. The light of Alola, the very aura that sustains its Pokémon, powers its Z-crystals, and fuels the dance of sun and moon, was no match for its grasp. Forests dimmed as leaves withered in instant twilight. Oceans lost their sparkle, turning to mirrors of dull grey. Villages huddled in the creeping dark, where even the stars seemed to flee its gaze. Necrozma siphoned the essence of the region, crystallizing it within itself, leaving behind a husk of faded paradise, the island's life force drained to feed its endless void. You can almost feel the chill of that eclipse, the way the warm trade winds turned frigid, carrying whispers of despair from the Pokémon who sensed their world's pulse fading. Solgaleo, the emissary of the sun, with its mane like molten gold and roar that shakes the dawn, felt the theft first. Lunala, harbinger of the moon, her wings veiling night skies in ethereal purple, echoed its cry across the veil. These cosmic lions, born from the evolution of Cosmog, the nebula Pokémon they had nurtured through nebulous infancy, had long watched over Alola. They were the beacons who, after some ancient cataclysm shattered the bonds of friendship between light and shadow, chose unity over division. In response to Necrozma's rampage, they merged their powers in a union profound and desperate, fusing Sunfire with moon mist to birth a radiant counterforce. That union of Solgaleo and Lunala pulsed with raw restorative energy, channeling the stolen light back through the veins of the islands. Z-crystals, those sparkling gems born from their cosmic essence, reignited one by one, their facets exploding in cascades of colour that pierced Necrozma's armour. The aura of Alola surged anew. The electric hum of Tapu villages, the verdant pulse of Wella Volcano Park, the serene flow of Mali Garden, all knit together in a tapestry of renewal. Pokémon across the chain stirred from stupor, their eyes gleaming with returned vitality, as the merged guardians clashed against the blinding one in a battle that warped the heavens. Necrozma fought with blinding beams that scorched the sea, but the Union's light proved unyielding, severing its hold and hurling it back toward ultraspace. Diminished but not destroyed, its crystals cracked and thirsting still. From this near catastrophe rose the Tapu Guardians, ancient sentinels whose origin traces to the dawn of Alola's natural order, chosen by the islands themselves, or perhaps by the lingering will of Solgaleo and Lunala. They emerged as ethereal shields. Tapu Koko crackling with electric fury, Tapu Lele drifting on psychic breezes laced with healing pollen, Tapu Bulu charging with grassy might that bends steel, and Tapu Fini commanding misty waves in graceful dominion. These weren't mere protectors. They embodied the balance of elements, the sacred duty to preserve the flow of life against cosmic interlopers. Long before human kahunas or trial captains, the Tapus patrolled the wilds, their shells humming with the island's heartbeat, intervening only when harmony teetered on oblivion. They wove barriers of aura around sacred sites, ensuring Z power remained pure, and communed with ride Pokémon in silent pacts that kept the ecosystem thriving without a single Pokéball in sight. In Alola society, this legacy runs deeper than tourism brochures suggest. The Tapus demand respect through Kapu, sacred laws etched into every trial, every festival drumbeat. Pokémon here don't just battle, they attune to the light's rhythm, their evolutions tied to the sun's zenith or moon's nadir. Humans learned early to revere this order, building shrines where Z-crystals amplify not just moves, but the very bond between trainer and companion. Worship echoes in the Ether Foundation's veiled experiments, probing ultraspace's wounds, and in the kahuna's whispers of guardians who could shatter worlds if provoked. Yet beneath the Laius and Luas, that primal theft lingers as a warning. Light is finite and its guardians eternal. The Alolan light restored, the blinding one repelled, leaves us pondering fractures that split even deeper into Pokémon kind's origins. Coming up, the Unova schism and the original dragon, a tale of betrayal and primal forces that could redefine every legend you've ever chased. While Alola's light bearers fused their powers to chase back the endless dark, Unova's ancient heart beats to a rhythm of fracture. A single colossal dragon rent apart by human ambition at its dawn. This is the Unova schism, the myth that shaped a region of stark contrasts, where white spires pierce cloudy skies and black crags swallow rivers whole. Long before trainers roamed its winding routes or plasma kings schemed in shadowed castles, two brothers rose from humble origins, each chasing a vision that would redefine their world. The elder brother pursued truth above all, a relentless seeker who demanded unyielding facts, stripping away illusions to reveal the raw essence of existence. He built his kingdom on towering pillars of white stone, where flames danced eternally in braziers, symbolizing clarity's purifying fire. His counterpart, the younger, embodied ideals, dreaming of a perfect harmony, where every Pokémon and human bonded without flaw, guided by unbreakable principles. His realm sprawled in shadowed valleys, alive with crackling thunder that promised power to the worthy. These twin heroes, bound by blood yet divided by conviction, clashed in a war that shook the earth, their armies of loyal Pokémon clashing under storm-racked heavens. At the war's furious core fought the original dragon, a behemoth of iridescent scales that had nurtured Unova from its primal egg, weaving life force through fertile plains and storm-swept coasts. It sided with neither at first, a neutral arbiter hovering above the fray, its wings blotting out the sun as it roared pleas for unity. But the brothers' fervour proved too great. In a cataclysmic clash atop a fractured mountain, their conflicting desires overwhelmed the dragon's form. Scales cracked like thunder, essence tore like lightning, and from its sundered body emerged two new entities, born of the schism itself. Reshiram burst forth in a blaze of white fury, the vast white Pokémon, embodiment of truth, its turbine tail igniting with solar flames that scorched the air and laid bare all deception. Zekrom followed in a tempest of black bolts, the vast black Pokémon, champion of ideals, its electric tail hammering the ground with righteous thunder that toppled false idols. What remained was a hollow shell, adrift and empty, a frozen husk that wandered Unova's icy fringes until it claimed the name Gnuramshire, the boundary Pokémon, yearning silently for the wholeness it lost. This triad lingers in Unova's bones today, their legends etched into every gym leader's creed and trainer's challenge. Reshiram perches in the Dragon Spiral Tower's highest reaches, a frozen sentinel awakening only for those who prove their pursuit of absolute truth. Zekrom lurks in the depths of Chargestone Cave, its electric hum echoing through magnetized crystals, drawn to idealists who envision a liberated world. Kyurem haunts the giant chasm, its glacial form a reminder of absence, absorbing lesser dragons in futile bids for completion. Modern seekers have fused them, Truth Kyurem blazing with Reshiram's fire, Black Kyurem crackling with Zekrom's storm. But such unions unleash devastation, mega-evolutions that warp reality and threaten to consume the land. The dragon can never be fully whole again without destroying the balance of the region. For truth and ideals are opposing flames that must burn apart to sustain Unova's fragile equilibrium. Reunite them completely, and the raw power would erupt unchecked, melting glaciers into floods, igniting plains into infernos, shattering the duality that birthed the region's vibrant ecosystems. Pokémon here evolve not just through battle, but through this philosophical tension. Starly flocks test truths in aerial skirmishes, while timber clans forge ideals in communal labour. Team Plasma twisted this law, preaching liberation as ideal, while hoarding power as twisted truth, their king N torn between the brothers' echoes. Wander Unova's mist-shrouded moors at dusk, and you might hear faint wing beats, a spectral reminder that division forged strength. Villages cluster around hearths, where elders whisper of the brothers' final gaze upon their creations. Regret mingling with pride as the dragon's fragments took flight. Rivers carve paths between white and black soils, mirroring the schism, while Ordino healers mend wounds from clashes that echo ancient wars. Even the weather bends to it, blazing summers chasing winter's bite, ideals fueling truth's forge. In N's eyes, battles bridge divide, Pokémon craving the friction of opposing wills to grow, just as the original dragon once did. Hilbert and Hilda, modern echoes of the twins, confronted Plasma's farce, proving that neither pure truth nor blind ideals suffice alone. Curum's chill seeps into Frost Cavern's depths, where ice types huddle, sensing the void that no fusion can truly fill without unraveling the threads of life itself. Yet exploitation shadows even these mythic divides, criminal syndicates, rising to industrialize the very bonds that define Pokémon existence. As we turn to Chapter 15, Team Rocket and the industrialization of Pokémon prepare to uncover how one organization's ruthless machinery turned legendary aspirations into a global shadow economy, ensnaring beasts in factories of fossil fuels and genetic chains. As the fractured remnants of the original dragon slumbered in Unova's icy caves, their tale of truth and ideals giving way to fragile peace, a far more insidious ambition stirred in the shadowed underbelly of Kanto. Giovanni, once a revered gym leader of Viridian City, began his quiet transformation into the architect of something far grander and far darker. He saw beyond the badges and battles, glimpsing a world where Pokémon weren't just companions or spectacles, but the raw fuel for unchecked dominion. Picture the dim glow of Viridian Gym's inner chambers, where challengers once tested their mettle against his Persian's razor claws. Giovanni had mastered the earth itself with his Nidoking and Raiden, commanding respect as a pillar of the league. But whispers spread through Saffron's high reases and Celadon's gambling dens. Shipments vanishing into hidden warehouses. Black market auctions humming with illicit trades. What drove this shift? Not defeat, but vision. The Pokémon League's structured rivalries felt like child's play to him. A system that celebrated individual glory while the true potential of these creatures lay untapped. He craved scale, industrialization on a level that turned wild instincts into machined obedience. Grunts in crisp black uniforms multiplied overnight, their Raticate scouts slipping through alleyways. Eakons coiling around briefcases stuffed with Pokeballs. Team Rocket wasn't born from chaos. It evolved from Giovanni's boardrooms, where executives traded gym prestige for syndicate ledgers. He funneled winnings from underground fights into labs, buried beneath the Rocket hideout, forging a network that spanned from the Seafoam Islands' icy depths to the flickering neon of Cinnabar. Pokémon became commodities, captured en masse, conditioned in vast pens, echoing with the low growls of Zubats and the mechanical whir of Poké Ball replicators. This was no ragtag gang. It was a corporation with teeth, industrializing the bond between human and Pokémon into a production line of power. At the heart of this empire pulsed the Mewtwo Project, a forbidden fusion of ancient whispers and cutting-edge hubris, deep in the Cinnabar Mansion's crumbling ruins, where Mount Moon's fossils whispered secrets of eras long buried. Scientists unearthed a sliver of DNA from Mew, the elusive pink phantom said to be the ancestor of all Pokémon. That tiny genetic thread, preserved in amber veins from the primordial seas, held the blueprint of creation itself. Giovanni's engineers didn't just clone it, they weaponized it. Laboratories hummed with the sterile buzz of centrifuges and gene sequencers. Vats bubbling with synthetic amniotic fluid under harsh fluorescent lights. They spliced Mew's code with aggressive traits from Venusaur, Charizard and Blastoise, amplifying psychic potential until the chamber walls trembled. The birth was cataclysmic. In a storm-lashed night, as lightning forked across the volcano's silhouette, Mewtwo emerged, violet skin glistening, eyes burning with engineered rage. No gentle nurturing here. This was the intersection of ancient DNA's mythic purity and modern genetic engineering's cold precision. Tubes snaked from its cradle, monitoring neural spikes that could shatter minds. Giovanni gazed upon his creation not as a child, but as the pinnacle of industrialization, a Pokémon unbound by nature's limits, its telekinetic fury a prototype for armies. Mewtwo's first roar cracked the mansion's foundations, a harbinger of what Giovanni envisioned. Pokémon as perfect soldiers, their loyalty forged in vats rather than bonds. But ambition demands conquest. Silph Co., the gleaming monolith of Saffron City, held the key. The Master Ball, a device to ensnare even the mightiest legends without fail. Team Rocket struck under moonless skies, warp panels materializing grunts amid cubicles and server farms. Rockets poured in, Arbocs hissing through ventilation shafts, while executives barricaded doors with trembling hands. Giovanni's forces seized the 17th floor, lasers flashing as Magneton disrupted security grids. But the tide turned. A young trainer, fate's unlikely champion, stormed the tower, badges glinting like stars of defiance. Floors blurred in chaos. Executive suites ransacked, Poké Balls shattering in crossfire, the air thick with ozone and fear sweet. Giovanni himself descended, his cloaked silhouette commanding a cadre of elite aces. Kingler claws snapping, cloister shells deflecting blows. Yet the assault crumbled. The trainer's Venusaur vines choked hallways, Idjot talons raking the skies above. Silph's defenses held, the Master Ball prototype slipping from rocket grasp. As Giovanni retreated into shadows, nursing wounds from a Pikachu's thunderbolt, revelation dawned. Pokémon weren't mere tools for theft or energy. They were the ultimate military asset. Battles proved it. Raw power, adaptive strategies, unyielding loyalty under fire. Why steal tech when you could command legions of the untamed? This failure didn't shatter Team Rocket. It refined them. Giovanni vanished into Johto's mists, his syndicate slinking underground, plotting resurgence with Mewtwo's shadow looming large. Factories churned out counterfeit balls, poacher rings stripped forests bare, all feeding the machine. The industrialization spread. Pokémon herded like livestock into power plants, their vitality siphoned for Silph's rivals, their ferocity honed for private wars. Yet cracks formed, whispers of Mewtwo's torment, breaking free in psychic tempests that leveled hideouts. Giovanni's dream industrialized not just Pokémon, but the very soul of Kanto, turning a world of wonder into one of calculated predation. And as Team Rocket's tendrils reached toward Johto's ancient towers, a succession of shadows and flames awaits, one that will unravel the ghosts of burned legacies and reborn beasts. Stay with me for Chapter 16. The Johto Succession, where the cycle of rise and ruin ignites anew. Giovanni's grand visions of domination through Mewtwo, eventually shattered under the weight of his own hubris, leaving Team Rocket fractured and scattered like ashes in the wind. But criminal empires don't fade quietly. 3 years after Red's mysterious disappearance into the shadowed heights of Mount Silver, whispers began to stir again in the golden fields of Johto. A new hero emerged from the quiet town of New Bark, a young trainer named Ethan, his eyes sharp with the unyielding resolve of youth. He set out not just for badges or glory, but to excise the lingering poison of Team Rocket from the region's veins. These weren't the bold strikes of Giovanni's era. These remnants operated in the dim underbelly, smuggling rare Pokémon, rigging underground fights, and peddling black market tech that twisted the bond between human and creature. Ethan traversed the misty routes of Johto, his team growing stronger with every shadowed hideout he raided. From the rusting silos of the power plant, where Electrode pulsed with stolen energy, to the fog-shrouded Lake of Rage, where a rampaging red Gyarados thrashed against the chains of rocket experimentation. Each victory peeled back layers of their desperation. Team Rocket, once a juggernaut, now clung to faded dreams, their grunts muttering about a return to greatness. Ethan felt the chill of their persistence in the damp air of the Olivine Lighthouse, where they starved Ampharos to harness its beam for signals no one understood. He pressed on, through the goldenrod undercity's maze of pipes and flickering neon, dismantling cells that echoed with the ghosts of Mewtwo's creation. Failed clones whimpering in cages, a grim reminder of Giovanni's legacy. The heart of their resurgence pulsed in Goldenrod City, at the towering radio tower that pierced the skyline like a defiant spire. This wasn't mere sabotage, it was a beacon of revival. Team Rocket seized the station in a blitz of smoke and shadowed figures their executives, Petrel, Ariana, Proton, Archer, striding through the corridors with masks of false confidence. They hijacked the airwaves, broadcasting a piercing signal across Johto and beyond, a digital siren call laced with frequencies tuned to summon the boss himself. Giovanni, wherever he lurked in exile, was the key they craved. The takeover flooded radios with distorted anthems, static-laced pleas that warped the air. Boss, the R's rise again. Johto bends to our will. Return and lead us. Listeners across the region froze. Trainers mid-battle, elders in their homes, Pokémon sensing the unnatural hum that prickled their fur, the significance cut deeper than disruption. It was a ritual of resurrection, an attempt to weave Giovanni back into the fabric of power through waves that carried the Syndicate's unquenched hunger. Ethan stormed the tower under a stormy dusk, the rain-slicked antennas crackling like veins of lightning, floors blurred in a symphony of clashes, his Typhlosion's flames licking the steel girders, Feraligatra's jaws crunching through barriers, until he faced the executives in the summit suite, their voices brittle with fanaticism. Defeating them silenced the broadcast, but the echo lingered, a question in the ether. Could the boss truly be called back from the void? With the tower reclaimed, Ethan's path cleared to claim Johto's heart. He swept through the Elite Four, his team a testament to unbreakable bonds forged in fire. Faulkner's birds wheeled in Ilex forest winds. Bugsy's scuttlers clicked in the azalea gloom. Whitney's Miltank charged across Ekratique's ancient stones, each gym a step toward purging the shadows. Morty's ghosts whispered of burned towers and resurrected beasts. Jasmine's steel hummed with the pain of exploited Magnezone. Chuck's fists echoed the raw power of disciplined wills. Price's ice cracked under relentless heat. Claire, the dragon mistress, tested his soul in the dragon's den, where whirlpools churn with ancestral fury. Crowned Johto champion, Ethan crossed into Kanto, the rival lands where Red's legend still burned. He conquered badges anew. Brock's stones ground to dust, Misty's waves parted Lieutenant. Surge's vaults shorted out, each a bridge between regions, proving his mastery over the old and new. The Indigo Plateau awaited, its arena a coliseum of fate where Lance fell, and Ethan ascended as the unified Indigo champion. Yet true trials whisper from the peaks. Word reached him of a silhouette atop Mount Silver, a figure cloaked in silence. Pokémon at his side like extensions of the storm itself. Ethan climbed the air thinning to a razor's edge, snow whipping his face as winds howled through jagged crags. Paths twisted upward, wild Pokémon testing his endurance, Donphan stampeding avalanches, Skarmory slicing the gales. At the summit, under a sky bruised purple, he found Red. No words passed between them, just the raw poetry of battle. Red's Pikachu sparked like bottled thunder, his Snorlax a mountain unto itself, Espeon's eyes piercing the veil of reality. Ethan countered with his own legends in making, moves crashing like tempests, earthquake shattering stone, hyper beam carving the heavens. Each command tested not just strength, but understanding, the rhythm of breath between trainer and Pokémon, the silent pact of trust amid chaos. As the final Pokémon fell, the snow settled in hush. Red turned, vanishing into the mist without a glance, leaving Ethan alone with the weight of victory. Here, at the peak of Mount Silver, the final confrontation revealed what it truly means to be a master. Not badges or titles, but the quiet pinnacle where you stand not above your companions, but woven into their essence. A guardian who cleanses threats, silences echoes of tyranny, and earns the nod of the silent wanderer. Ethan descended changed, Johto's succession complete, the remnants of Rocket buried for good. But how does a world this vast capture and release such power without shattering the soul? In the next chapter, the science of the Poké Ball will unravel the hidden mechanics that make every capture a miracle of energy and will. Stay with me to see how it bends reality itself. As Ethan stood victorious atop the reclaimed radio tower, his Pikachu vanishing into a flash of red light with a simple flick of his wrist. That effortless recalled begged a deeper question. What hidden science allows a Pokémon to fold itself into something no larger than a baseball, ready to emerge anywhere, anytime? Poké Balls trace their lineage back thousands of years to the ancient forests of Johto, where shamans harvested apricorns, those rugged seed pods that grew wild and resilient under the canopy. These weren't mere nuts. Their thick shells, veined with natural polymers, could be hollowed and cured over low fires, infused with the essence of local Pokémon habitats through rituals whispered among the clans. Picture the soft glow of a lure ball, stained with the iridescent oils of water-dwelling creatures, or the stark white of a fastball, baked to mimic the speed of fleeing prey. Kurt, the modern artisan in Azalea Town, carries this torch, carving each one by hand, but his methods echo those prehistoric craftspeople who first bound wild beasts not with chains, but with the very geometry of nature itself. That ancient ingenuity evolved into the sleek capsules we know today, mass-produced by giants like Sylph Company and the Devon Corporation. The breakthrough came in the Unification era, when Colossian engineers, drawing from AZ's forbidden infinity energy research, partnered with Unova quantum theorists to miniaturize the process. At the heart of every Pokeball lies a conversion matrix, a lattice of synthetic apricorn derivatives, interwoven with rare metals like those from Melton's lineage. When you press that central button, it doesn't suck a Pokemon in like some vacuum. It initiates a precise transmutation of matter into energy, governed by principles akin to those that power a Staraptor's wing beat or a Mewtwo's psychic pulse. Einstein's famous equation finds a playful echo here. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, but scaled to Pokemon biology. The ball emits a low-frequency warp field, resonating with the Pokemon's own aura, the invisible life force that trainers sense during battles. In milliseconds, the creature's physical form dematerializes, its atomic structure disassembled into a stable energy waveform, like compressing an entire ocean into a single droplet. This pattern encodes not just mass, but memories, instincts, even the subtle scars from past fights. Stored within the ball's core capacitor, it draws negligible power, waiting indefinitely until released. No wonder Ethan could summon his team across regions without fatigue. The ball sustains the energy state flawlessly, a portable arc for living legends. But what unfolds inside that crimson shell? Dissection of captured prototypes, ethically sourced from Team Rocket's abandoned labs, reveals a micro-engineered paradise. The interior expands upon entry, unfolding into a simulated biome tailored to the occupant species. For a Charmeleon, it's a volcanic cavern with geothermal vents humming softly. For a Butterfree, a pollen-rich meadow under perpetual twilight. Holographic projectors, powered by the ball's battery, generate scents, temperatures, even faint breezes, all calibrated via an onboard AI that scans the Pokemon's preferences during capture. Oxygen cycles perfectly, nutrients synthesized from ambient energy, and gravity adjusts to mimic home turf. It's no prison cell, but a sanctuary where wounds knit faster than in the wild, accelerating recovery between gym challenges. Do Pokemon remain conscious within? The evidence whispers yes, yet in a state profound and restorative. EEG scans smuggled from Cinnabar's labs show brainwave patterns akin to deep meditation, theta waves dominant, laced with REM bursts suggesting vivid dreams. Trainers report their partners stirring subtly during storage. A tail twitch or contented rumble vibrating the shell. Professor Oak once confided that Bulbasaur, inside its ball on the lab shelf, responds to his voice with accelerated heartbeats, as if eavesdropping on the world outside. They're not frozen in oblivion, they're suspended in a healing reverie, pondering battles past, forging bonds in the quiet. This awareness fosters unbreakable loyalty. Your Pokemon chooses to return, knowing the ball as a trusted cocoon. Trading Pokemon introduces another layer of this arcane tech, most vividly through the archaic link cable phenomenon from the early digital exchanges. Before wireless wonders, trainers connected Game Boys with those coiled yellow cords, beaming data across invisible bridges. What the public sees as a simple swap hides profound biological shifts. As the energy pattern transmits, it passes through a reconfiguration node, rewriting cellular templates to adapt to new environments. Alakazam evolves only post-trade, because the link cable's quantum handshake amplifies its latent psychic potential, fusing traded partners' auras into a catalyst. Haunter becomes Gengar not by magic, but by the cable's induced metamorphosis, where stolen ghost-type essence merges with the recipient's data stream. Specimens traded this way exhibit permanent changes, thicker hides for cross-regional climates, heightened immunities from mingled heritages. Galar's trading halls buzz with tales of Machoke bulking up mid-transfer, veins pulsing as the cable sparks. Yet anomalies persist. Some Pokemon emerge subtly altered, loyalties recalibrated, evolutions unlocked that defy lab replication. This digital alchemy underscores why N's liberation rhetoric rang hollow. Pokemon thrive in these exchanges, their biology evolving alongside human ingenuity. Kurt's Apricorn workshops still dot Johto's hills, a reminder that for all our tech, the Poké Ball binds us to primal roots. As Ethan holstered his last ball after thwarting Rocket's broadcast summon, he embodied that symbiosis, a boy with the power of gods in his pocket. Yet not every Pokemon returns unscathed from these capsules, and whispers persist of one vanishing without trace during a fateful sea voyage. In the next chapter, The Vanishing of Blue's Raticate, we unravel that chilling enigma, what befell the champion's companion aboard the Anne, and why history erased it from the Indigo League saga. While Pokemon can retreat into the comforting confines of their Pokeballs, their bodies safely dematerialized into pure energy, patiently awaiting release. Not every capture holds forever. Sometimes, a Pokeball empties without explanation. Its occupant vanished into the ether of the Kanto region, leaving only questions in the humid wake of the Anne. You remember Blue, that cocky rival shadowing Red's every step through Kanto's badge quest, his team a mirror of overconfidence and raw power aboard the Anne. That glittering luxury liner rocking gently on Vermilion's waves, the air thick with salt, and the clamour of elite trainers. Blue challenges red to what should have been just another rivalry clash. Pidgeotto swoops through the cabin's polished decks. Charmeleon scorches the air with embers that singe velvet curtains. And then Rackate bursts forth, all fangs and fury, its whiskers twitching in the dim lantern light. The battle rages, moves colliding like thunderclaps, the deck vibrating underfoot as waves slap the hull below. But when the smoke clears and Red earns his cut of the HM surf from the captain's quarters, Blue storms off, his grin twisted into something darker. Fast forward to Fuchsia City, where Red heals up before the Safari Zone's dusty trails. Blue reappears, ready for round 2, but as he cycles through his squad, one slot stares back empty. No Raticate. Just a hollow Poké Ball, its bottom cold and unresponsive, like a grave marker polished by sea spray. This is the tragic theory of the S, and battle, and the subsequent visit to Pokémon Tower in Lavender Town. Fans have pieced it together from the game's subtle cracks. Blue's team shrinks from 6 to 5 after that shipboard showdown. Raticate scrubbed from existence without a word. No trade, no release animation, no box transfer in those early days of Kanto coding. The implication hangs heavy. Raticate didn't faint, it died. Right there, amid the clashing wills and explosive attacks, in a world that pretends every knockout is just a nap. Picture the salty breeze fading as Blue slips away from the S. Anne, clutching that lifeless capsule, his footsteps echoing on the gangplank. He heads straight for Lavender Town, that fog-shrouded hamlet where the Pokémon Tower looms like a skeletal spire. Its 7 floors a mausoleum, etched with the names of the departed. Bells toll softly in the mist, mourners whispering prayers as ghastly drift through cracked stone walls, their gaseous forms chilling the air to your bones. Blueberries Raticate there, in the shadow of the tower's peak, where the Marowak ghost guards her lost child. A mother stripped bare by poacher's greed. Red arrives soon after, drawn by rumours of restless spirits, his own team still buzzing from the S. Anne, victory. The tower's gloom presses in, purple fog coiling around your ankles, the faint cries of unseen Pokémon echoing up spiral staircases slick with condensation. Channelers sit cross-legged in dim alcoves, their eyes rolling back as they commune with the veil. Voices warping into spectral howls that name the dead. It's no game glitch, these aren't illusions, they're bridges to the beyond. In this world where fainting is the norm, death creeps in quietly, a shadow behind the fanfare of badges and leagues. Pokémon battles are sanctioned spectacles of willpower, where a fainted creature simply yields, retreating to heal in a centre's glowing pods, emerging stronger, bonds forged in the fire of strategy and trust. Fainting means exhaustion, not extinction. A Pokémon slumps, eyes dimming, but its heart beats on, ready for the next call. Gym leaders preach this creed. Professor Oak echoes it in his lab's sterile hum. Battles build character, never break spirits, yet reality bites deeper. Wild Pokémon fall to predators in Viridian Forest's underbrush, their cries swallowed by rustling leaves. Poachers strip life from rare specimens. Team Rocket experiments carve away at the soul. Death isn't erased, it's veiled. Pokémon Tower stands as proof, a sanctuary where trainers lay their fallen companions to rest. Incense burning in brass bowls, the scent of sandalwood mingling with earth's damp rot. Families visit at dusk, placing flowers on tiers crowded with headstones, sharing stories of loyalty that outlasted the fight. The channelers embody this fragile balance, their role etched into Kanto's spiritual fabric. Draped in tattered robes the colour of storm clouds, they perch amid the tower's gloom, fingers tracing runes on frost-rimed floors. Gifted or cursed, with the sight, They attune to the afterlife's whispers, drawing forth ghastly and haunter manifestations that swirl like smoke from forgotten pyres. These aren't mere psychics, they're mediums, conduits for the unrested, allowing the dead to lash out or find peace. In Lavender Town's perpetual twilight, where street lamps flicker like willow-wisps, channelers mediate between worlds, their chants rising in hypnotic cadence, easing Raticate's kin toward whatever lies beyond the veil. Blue never speaks of it. He presses on, his team leaner, sharper, haunted by absence. Red clears the tower, silences the Marowak spectre with a pulse of light, claims the silence badge from Mr. Fuji high in the peak, gazing out over Lavender's misty sprawl. But the vanishings linger, a reminder that Poké Balls don't capture everything. Souls slip free, battles claim more than victory. Kanto's trainers carry on, badges gleaming under sun-dappled paths, but the tower's bells toll eternal truths. Death weaves through the Utopia, a quiet undercurrent to the cheers of stadiums and the thrill of the Elite Four. What happens when the energy inside a ball dissipates for good, when fainting blurs into forever? And as we leave Lavender's fog behind, drifting toward ancient guardians sealed away by creators, prepare yourself for Chapter 19. The myth of the Regi Titans. Titans whose awakening could reshape continents, their origins buried deeper than any tower crypt, while fainting has become the gentle veil over defeat in our modern battles, sparing Pokémon from true harm. Ancient humans knew no such mercy when facing forces that could shatter mountains or freeze seas in an instant. They didn't just faint these beings, they entombed them forever, carving warnings into stone that echo through the ages. These were the Regi Titans, colossal golems born from a legend so vast it reshaped the world itself. Deep in the shadowed lore of Hoenn, whispered around campfires in Rustborough, and etched into the ruins of Island Cave, the myth begins with Regigigas, a colossal continental titan. Picture a time when the Earth was a fractured mosaic, continents adrift on primal oceans like scattered puzzle pieces after some cataclysmic birth. Regigigas emerged from the void, its massive body woven from unyielding stone and muscle, eyes glowing with an otherworldly white fire, with ropes forged from its own indestructible hide. Thick as ancient tree trunks, and stronger than any chain humans could dream. It grasped the edges of those wandering lands. One by one, it hauled them into place, muscles straining against the drag of tides and tectonics, the ground groaning as supercontinents locked into the map we know today. Each pull sent tsunamis crashing and volcanoes belching, but Regigigas toiled on, a lone architect of stability, until the world steadied beneath its grip. Sailors in far-off ports still swear by old tales. The earthquakes are its restless twitches, reminders of that primordial labour. Yet even a titan needs hands to command its domain. From the raw stuff of the planet, Regigigas sculpted its servants, breathing life into forms that would guard and maintain its grand design. Regirock rose first from the sun-baked clays of desert basins, its body a fortress of jagged boulders that shifted like living armour, fists capable of pulverizing cliffs into gravel. Then came Regis, forged in the heart of glacial chasms, where eternal winter howled, crystalline plates encasing a core of absolute zero, exhaling blizzards that could entomb armies in frost. Last, Registeel materialized from molten veins deep underground, its frame a seamless alloy of magnetic steel, impervious to blade or flame, humming with an energy that warped compasses for miles. These three Regi trio moved as extensions of their master, patrolling the seams of continents, mending fissures, and quelling the Earth's fury. Regirock piled mountains to hold land steady. Regis sealed unstable rifts with ice bridges spanning oceans, and Registeel reinforced the world's skeleton with veins of unbreakable metal. Together, they were the pillars of creation, tireless sentinels under Regi's unblinking gaze. But power like that breeds terror in fragile hearts. As human tribes spread across the newly formed lands, they beheld these titans not as saviors, but as harbingers of doom. Villages vanished under Regirock's strides, mistaken for quakes. Fleets froze solid in Regis's wake, drifts of ice locking harbours for generations. And Registeel's magnetic pull dragged iron tools and warriors from their grips, twisting metal into nightmarish sculptures. Whispers grew to screams. These were not guardians, but invaders from a colder epoch, jealous of humanity's fire. Panic united scattered clans in a desperate pact. With cunning born of fear, they lured the servants into vast caverns. Regirock to a granite maze in rust-earth tunnel. Regis to the icy abyss of Icefall Cave. Registeel to the steely vaults of the Iron Ruins, sealing them with mechanisms of stone slabs and pressure plates. Traps that only the pure of heart or the worthy could unravel. Regigigas itself, weakened by the betrayal or perhaps by choice, slumbered deepest in Snowpoint Temple, its body locked in a pose of eternal vigilance, eyes dimmed to slits, to ensure no fool would disturb this fragile peace. The ancients inscribed their dread in a script lost to time. Braille, dots punched into temple walls like the eyes of the blind watching eternally. In the island cave, fingers tracing the rough protrusions reveal a chilling decree. Regigigas Sleptwalker, follow 7 stars south of 7 stars, to the King's Rock. Deeper still, warnings pulse through the stone. Long ago, the continents were pulled by Regigigas using ropes. It created the 3 titans to serve it. Humans feared their power and sealed them away. These messages, meant for wanderers groping in darkness, serve as both map and malediction, guiding the bold to the seals while damning the reckless. Explorers in Hoenn today still find fresh scrapes on those walls, proof that curiosity endures, but so does the fear. Many a dig site abandoned after tools bent inexplicably or frost claimed the air. This myth threads through Hoenn's soul, from the gym leaders who train in the shadows of those ruins to the Devon Corporation's probes into ancient tech, always circling back to that primal dread of awakening what should stay buried. It explains the Braille puzzles guarding legendary shrines, the golem's slow, deliberate animations when roused, their dots for eyes staring blankly as if questioning their summoners. In a society where Pokémon are partners, the Regi Titans remind us of the line between ally and apocalypse, sealed not out of malice, but survival. And as we ponder those ropes that tethered the world, we can't help but wonder what other justices humanity clashed with in the fires of our rise. Drift deeper with us into Chapter 20, the swords of justice and human conflict, where blades of righteousness turn against the very hands that forged them, and a single flame ignites a legacy of vengeance that still scorches the pages of Johto's hidden history. I hope you're as amazed by this as I am. If you want to stay updated on more content like this, make sure to subscribe and join our community of curious minds. Trust me, what's coming next will challenge everything you thought you knew. That primal fear humans held toward the Regi Titans echoed through the ages, a reminder that even in a world shaped by Pokémon like Regigigas, our own kind could turn guardians into prisoners. But what happens when human ambition ignites not just fear, but outright devastation against the innocent creatures who share our lands? In the shadowed valleys of ancient Johto, known then as the Moor and Yova regions, such a catastrophe unfolded, scorching the earth and claiming countless lives. Smoke choked the sky over those contested territories, where rival clans clashed in a brutal war over fertile plains and sacred groves. Flames leaped from torchlit battles, fed by dry winds and unchecked rage, devouring forests that had stood for centuries. Pokémon fled in panic, Pidgey wheeling desperately overhead, herds of Tauros stampeding through underbrush that crackled like shattering bones. Amid the inferno's roar, a young Keldeo, barely weaned from its herd, collapsed beside its mother's lifeless form. The colt's blue coat singed black at the edges, its cries drowned by the thunder of collapsing trees. It was then that three legendary figures emerged from the haze, their silhouettes cutting through the blaze like blades of fate. Cobalion, the noble leader forged of iron will and steel resolve, charged forward with eyes gleaming like polished shields. Beside him thundered Terrakion, a colossal force of raw rock and unyielding power, horns lowered to shatter burning debris. Graceful Virizion followed, her verdant blades slicing through smoke tendrils, every step a dance of precision amid chaos. Together, these swords of justice plunged into the heart of the fire at the Moor and Yova region, their hooves barely scorching the ground as they shielded the orphaned Keldeo from the collapsing canopy. They carried the trembling foal to safety on the windswept plateaus beyond the flames, where the air finally cleared and stars pierced the night. There, amid the cooling embers of that human folly, Cobalion, Terrakion and Virizion made their solemn vow to protect Pokémon from the destructive nature of human wars. No longer would they stand idle as petty conflicts razed homes and slaughtered the blameless. These three had roamed Johto's wilds for generations, embodiments of justice. Cobalion's unshakable honor, Terrakion's brute strength to safeguard the vulnerable, Virizion's swift elegance to outmaneuver tyranny. Their oath bound them eternally, wanderers who would intervene wherever humanity's greed threatened the balance. Keldeo, that wide-eyed survivor, became their charge, the fourth sword destined to complete their quartet. Raising him wasn't mere nurturing. It was a forging of body and spirit under the open skies. Dawn breaks would find them on mist-shrouded cliffs, Cobalion drilling the colt in disciplined strikes, teaching that true justice demands clarity of purpose amid deception. Strength without mercy is tyranny, the leader would intone, his voice a resonant echo off stone walls, as Keldeo parried blows that could shatter boulders. Terrakion took over in the rugged foothills, where avalanches of loose gravel tested endurance. The massive warrior goaded Keldeo into charges that split earth, bellowing lessons on raw power tempered by protection. Picture the ground quaking under their hooves, dust clouds billowing like war banners. Yet always the emphasis: harness your might not for conquest, but to defend those too frail to fight back. Sweat streamed from Keldeo's flanks, his horn glowing faintly with nascent energy, as he learned to leap barriers that once felled grown Rapidash. Virizion led the final trials in sun-dappled meadows, weaving through thickets of razor grass and illusory vines. Her philosophy shone here: grace as the ultimate weapon, speed to evade and strike where oppressors least expect. Keldeo twisted mid-air, mastering the secret sword technique, a blade of pure energy born from inner resolve. Protect the weak not out of pity, but because their survival upholds the world's fragile harmony. She whispered on twilight runs, a form a green blur against fading light. This training of the fourth sword wove their core philosophy deep into Keldeo's being. Justice as a sacred duty to shield the powerless from harm, whether from fang or human fire. The swords roamed as a unit thereafter, legends whispered in Johto's villages, intervening in skirmishes that echoed the Moor and Yova blaze. They quelled bandit raids on Pokémon herds, scattered armies threatening migration paths, always vanishing before gratitude could bind them. Yet scars lingered. Keldeo's hesitation in battle, a shadow of trauma that only full mastery could dispel. Their legend rippled outward, a cautionary tale in Pokémon society, where humans and creatures strive for utopia, yet history whispers of fractures. Even as trainers like Ethan would one day tread Johto's paths, Purging remnants of greed, the swords patrolled unseen, guardians against the wars that birthed their vow. In their unyielding stance, we glimpse the tension beneath the surface. Pokémon not just partners, but sovereign beings who remember every blaze humanity ignited. And as these ironclad protectors forged their path, another ancient force stirred in the forges of forgotten eras, shaping tools and destinies from molten heartbeats. Next time, in Chapter 21, Melmetal and the Age of Iron, we'll uncover how a Pokémon of living metal revolutionized human craft, and what worship it commanded in return. Drift off now, knowing these tales guard your dreams. While the swords of justice withdrew into the shadows, vowing to shield Pokémon from the flames of human ambition, another alliance bloomed in the ancient world, and that turned destruction into creation, and raw ore into rivers of molten steel, deep in the fog-shrouded valleys of what would one day become the industrial heartlands. Early humans discovered Melmetal, this hulking behemoth, with its hulking chrome body and glowing hexagonal eyes, wasn't just a guardian or a warrior, it was a living forge. Tribes gathered around these rare giants, their chants echoing off jagged cliffs as they watched in awe. Melmetal could generate liquid metal from its very core, expelling it in shimmering streams that cooled into tools, weapons and armor right before their eyes. No bellows, no crucibles, just the Pokemon's innate power, drawing from Earth's hidden veins to birth purity from chaos. You can picture the rituals under starlit skies. Shamans adorned in ore-flecked robes would offer heaps of scrap and stone at Melmetal's feet, their voices rising in harmonious pleas. In return, the beast would rumble to life, its body heating until hexagonal panels glowed white-hot. Liquid metal poured forth, hissing as it met the night air, or blades sharp enough to cleave boulders or plowshares that tamed the wild soil. These weren't mere tricks of nature. They were miracles that elevated nomadic bands into settled clans, their villages sprouting forges modelled after the Pokemon's form. Melmetal became their deity of progress, etched into cave walls alongside depictions of flowing silver rivers and unbreakable shields. This worship spread like wildfire across continents, fueling what historians now call the Age of Iron. Settlements that once huddled in thatched huts rose as metropolises of smelters, their gates forged from Melmetal's gifts. Warriors clad in seamless plate mail conquered rivals, while farmers wielded plows that bit deeper into unyielding earth. Pokemon's metal wasn't ordinary. It resisted rust, bent without breaking, and hummed faintly with residual energy, as if alive. Clans competed to attract Melmetal herds, building massive stone altars laced with rare minerals and to lure them from mountain lairs. Songs of the Iron God filled the air, tales of how one Melmetal's bounty armed an entire army against invaders from the sea. But abundance breeds mystery, and Melmetal's story takes a darker turn. Without warning, around 3,000 years ago, the species vanished. One dawn, the valleys fell silent. No more rumbling summons, no gleaming processions. Altars stood cold, their offerings untouched. As liquid metal rivers dried to dust, panic gripped the worshippers. Did the gods withdraw in anger? Had rival shamans poisoned the earth? Expeditions scoured the depths, but Melmetal was gone, leaving behind a world teetering on the brink. Forges dimmed, empires cracked under the weight of scarcity, and the Age of Iron stuttered toward collapse. Centuries passed in that shadow, humans scraping by with primitive smelting, their once mighty alloys forgotten relics. Then, whispers emerged from the fringes, tales of tiny screw-headed creatures burrowing from the soil. Melton they were called, mischievous imps no taller than a child's knee, with single glowing eyes and bodies of wriggling metal. These weren't invaders, they were harbingers. In hidden groves and abandoned mines, clusters of Melton would merge, fusing in ecstatic dances until a larger form emerged. Melmetal reborn. The mystery deepened. Where did these nuts come from? Some say they sprout from magnetic fields in the Earth's core, nurtured by geomagnetic storms. Others claim their seeds dropped by wandering ultra beasts, carrying the essence of distant worlds. Whatever the truth, Melton's proliferation marked the re-emergence, a slow tide that flooded the world with fresh hordes. This cycle reshaped everything. Modern miners still unearth Melton nests in iron-rich deposits, coaxing them with electromagnetic lures to harvest their metal without harm. But the true legacy lies in mythology's evolution. Pokémon like these didn't just provide raw material. They inspired techniques that humans could mimic. Watching Melmetal's internal fusion, alchemists developed high-frequency induction furnaces, replicating the beast's energy pulses to melt ores at impossible temperatures. Magnemite swarms were harnessed in factories, their fields aligning alloys for unprecedented strength. Even today, in the bustling foundries of Kalos or the shipyards of Galar, Pokémon labour alongside humans, not as slaves, but partners in an industrial symphony. Take the steam behemoths of Unova's skyline. Their hulls, based registeel filaments, owe their durability to Melmetal's blueprint, or Paldea's terraforming rigs, powered by Excadrill and guided by Metagross computations, echoing the ancient ploughs. Without these beings, human metallurgy would crawl on coals, not soar on plasma. The Age of Iron wasn't a human conquest. It was a co-creation where Pokémon blood, liquid metal, pumped through civilization's veins. Yet for all this bounty, questions linger in the quiet hours. Why did Melmetal vanish so abruptly? Do the Melton nuts hold a deeper secret, perhaps tied to the Earth's own awakening? And as we peer closer at Pokémon biology, even stranger paradoxes emerge, like evolutions that defy nature's most basic rules. That's where we head next, in Chapter 22, the Gender Swap Paradox. What happens when a Pokémon's very identity flips mid-transformation, challenging everything we assume about their world? Stick around. You won't believe the implications. While ancient humans once revered Melmetal for forging rivers of molten iron from simple nuts, Pokémon biology holds even stranger secrets, ones that challenge everything we assume about evolution and survival. Consider Azurill, that tiny bouncing blue orb with a tail like a coiled spring, always emerging as female in the earliest records trainers kept. Yet when it evolves into Marill, the round water mouse with ears like floppy sails, it can emerge male half the time. A complete reversal that defies the rigid rules of genetics in most species. This biological anomaly of Azurill's evolution into Marill and the shifting of traits isn't some glitch in the world's design. It's a deliberate pivot etched into their lineage over generations of misty wetlands and flooded meadows. Picture a clutch of Azurill tumbling through shallow streams, their buoyant bodies bobbing like living buoys. All female at first, nurturing the young and foraging in tight family clusters. But as they grow, the tail hardens, the blue skin toughens against rushing currents, and evolution triggers not just size or power, but a gender flip for many. Females become males, ready to patrol deeper waters, defend against predatory Gyarados or territorial Quagsire. It's as if the species itself decides who needs to lead the charge, reshaping bodies to fit the moment. Deep in those watery packs, where Marill forms synchronized flotillas, gliding over lily pads at dawn, Pokémon biology adapts to environmental pressures and social needs within a pack like a living strategy. Harsh floods demand stronger swimmers, so the evolution favors bulkier males with deeper voices that carry warnings across fog-shrouded ponds. In lean seasons, when berries sink under silt and fish scatter, the females, holding steady from their Azurill days, anchor the nursery burrows. weaving air pockets in submerged roots to shelter the vulnerable. Males range outward, bartering with nearby polywag pods, or challenging intruders in ritual splashes that echo like distant thunder. This isn't random, it's harmony forged by necessity. Packs that master this shift thrive, their numbers swelling in regions like Johto's lakes or Hoen's mangroves, where a single storm can drown the unwary. You can almost hear the soft plips of rain on their rubbery hides as they huddle, tails linked in a chain that pulses with shared energy. Trainers who raise them notice it too. The way a female Azuril's playful bounces turn into a male Maril's steadfast gaze, traits shifting not just in form but in temperament, from carefree explorer to vigilant guardian. Scientists in the Pokémon lab whisper that hormones surge during the tail's crystallization, rewriting chromosomes in a burst of infinity energy residue, a faint echo of ancient cataclysms. Packs without this flexibility, they fade, outcompeted by those whose biology bends like a reed in the current. But reproduction adds another layer of enigma to this watery world. Enter the daycare, or nursery as locals call it in places like Route 4 in Kanto or the meadows of Sinnoh. Marine enclosures ringed by white picket fences, where trainers leave their Pokémon to relax and return to find eggs cradled in hay-lined baskets. The role of the nursery is vital, a neutral ground where species mingle without battles, fostering bonds that spark new life. Old breeders swear by it, dropping off a Pikachu and a Clefairy, only to collect a speckled egg days later, warm and humming faintly. Yet here's the paradox that keeps even Professor Oak awake at night. No one has ever seen a Pokémon lay an egg, not once in centuries of observation. Couples emerge from tall grass, nuzzle under moonlight, and vanish into burrows, but the eggs appear mysteriously in the nursery, as if delivered by unseen hands. Some blame Ditto, those amorphous shapeshifters who mimic mates perfectly, their gooey forms extruding eggs without fanfare. Others point to the legendaries. Perhaps Mew, that phantom geneticist, scattering potentials across the land. In Azuril packs it's even odder. Females predominate as babies, but eggs hatch uniformly, priming the cycle for that evolutionary gender swap. Nurseries become crossroads of fate, where a Maril pair might produce an Azuril destined to flip the script, ensuring the pack's balance endures. Whispers persist of hidden rituals in the nursery's backfields, where elder Pokémon gather under starlight, channeling energies from the earth itself. Eggs pulse with latent power, their shells veined like maps of forgotten continents, hatching into young that carry traits from distant ancestors. Trainers pocket them without question, but pause to wonder, if battles build bonds and evolutions rewrite rules, what force orchestrates this silent miracle? Packs rely on it, dispersing young to new waters, carrying the paradox forward like a secret current. These unseen mechanics ripple through every region, from Alola's tide pools to Galar's misty fens, where Maril colonies form the backbone of aquatic societies. A single egg can tip a pack's fortunes, birthing a leader whose swapped traits rally them against drought or invasion. And as we peel back these layers, the human hand feels distant. Trainers guide, but nature's code runs deeper. That code starts to unravel when ambitious groups like Team Galactic meddle with time and space, setting the stage for their dramatic downfall in the chapters ahead. Chapter 23 dives into the fall of Team Galactic, where their universe-shattering schemes collide with forces they never saw coming. Stick around, because the stakes there will leave you questioning every star in the sky. While Pokémon like Azuril reshape their very essence through evolution to thrive in tight-knit packs, facing down packs of predators in Sinnoh's misty lakes demands more than biological tricks. It calls for guardians who watch from the depths, unseen sentinels ready to shield the fragile spark that binds human and Pokémon alike. In the shadowed underbelly of that same region, a man named Cyrus rose, with a vision so barren it chilled the air itself, dreaming of a universe stripped clean of all emotion, all spirit, where chaos and imperfection could never take root again. Cyrus, the iron-fisted commander of Team Galactic, saw the world's teeming life as a flaw, a messy tangle of feelings that bred conflict and suffering. He gathered scientists, grunts, and commanders under his banner, their uniforms gleaming like cold stars against Sinnoh's snowy peaks, all bent on harnessing the powers that birth reality itself. Their headquarters sprawled beneath Lake Valor, a labyrinth of humming machines and glowing cylinders, where they captured the Lake Guardians. Those ethereal beings dwelling in the hearts of Sinnoh's sacred waters. Uxie, the guardian of knowledge, floated in silent wisdom. Mesprit, embodiment of emotion, pulsed with untamed feeling. Azelf, the will incarnate, shimmered with unyielding resolve. Cyrus drained their energies, funneling them into orbs that would twist time and space to his command. High atop Spear Pillar, where ancient ruins pierced the storm sky like jagged teeth, Cyrus enacted his ritual under a fractured heaven. Winds howled through the pillars, carrying whispers of forgotten Dialgas and Palkias, the lords of time and space. He shattered the red chain, forged from the Guardian's stolen life force, and called forth Dialga from the streams of eternity. Its diamond-hard body warping seconds into eternity, with every metallic roar. Palkia answered next, space folding like wet paper in its pearl-clutched grip, oceans of possibility rippling outward in subspatial waves. Reality buckled. Cyrus's new world hovered on the brink, a void promising perfection without the mess of hearts beating in unison or discord that the human spirit, that elusive flame Pokémon biology alone can't explain, refused to fade. From their shattered prisons in the lakes, the Guardians stirred. Uxie darted through the veil of knowledge, piercing illusions Cyrus had woven to blind the world to his madness. Mesprit surged with raw emotion, igniting the wills of trainers who had chased horizons across Sinnoh's roots, their bonds with partners unbreakable. Azelf embodied sheer determination, rallying the resolve that turned a young challenger named Lucas into an unyielding force. Together, they shattered the chains binding Dialga and Palkia, their psychic forms weaving through the chaos like living auroras, restoring the balance that preserved the human heart at reality's core. Without them, Cyrus's emotionless paradise would have swallowed Sinnoh whole, leaving no room for the packs adapting in lakes or the journeys that define us all. As Dialga and Palkia thrashed free, their powers clashed in a cataclysm of temporal loops and spatial rifts, tearing open a gash to the Distortion world, a realm of inverted gravity and endless twilight, ruled by Giratina, the renegade dragon exiled for its wrath. Cyrus, obsessed to the last, plunged into that fractured dimension, chasing his shattered dream, his commanders. Saturn with his calculated schemes, Mars with her fiery temper, Jupiter her sly cunning, scattered or pulled into the void alongside grunts who vanished mid-command. Those lost in the Distortion world linger in limbo, their fates suspended in Giratina's domain, where time unravels and space mocks direction. Some say their echoes haunt Sinnoh's wilds, faint distortions flickering at the edge of vision. Even now, ripples from that summoning pulse through space-time, subtle enough to miss, unless you're listening close. Clocks in Eterna City run seconds slow on stormy nights. Pokémon in mount. Coronet herds shy from certain shadows, sensing folds where alternate paths branched and withered. Trainers report glimpses of what might have beens, ghostly figures of unlived lives, or lakes reflecting worlds without spirit. Spear Pillar stands scarred, its pillars etched with faint glowing cracks that hum when Dialga's roar echoes from afar. These lingering echoes remind us that Pokémon Society's delicate web, from pack adaptations to legendary interventions, hangs by threads Cyrus nearly severed. And yet, for all Team Galactic's cosmic ambition and chilling fall, the deceptions ran deeper in other shadows, waiting for the right fool to chase false freedoms. Tune in next for Chapter 24, The Ghetsis Deception, where a silver-tongued tyrant twists liberation into chains tighter than any red chain. You won't believe how he fooled an entire region until it was too late. As the echoes of Spear Pillar faded, and the Lake Guardians restored balance to Sinnoh's fragile spirit, another shadow stirred across the sea in Unova, where a silver-tongued visionary named Ghetsis Harmonia Gropius cloaked his ambitions in the robes of righteousness. Team Plasma swept into the region like a righteous storm, their black and white banners fluttering over Castelia City's gleaming spires and Nuvema Town's quiet fields, proclaiming an end to the chains binding Pokémon to human whims. They painted a picture of cruelty you could almost feel. The Poké Balls as prisons, battles as brutality, trainers as tyrants stealing innocence from wild hearts. Ghetsis, with his piercing green hair and one glowing eye framed by a jagged crown, stood atop the plasma frigate, his voice booming through megaphones that drowned out the gulls over Undella Bay. Pokémon deserved freedom, he thundered, not servitude. Release them all, and harmony would reign. Crowds gathered, some nodding in quiet agreement, others whispering doubts as their loyal companions nuzzled closer, refusing the offered liberation. But at the heart of this crusade pulsed a figure moulded from solitude and sorrow, N, the Puppet King himself. From infancy, Ghetsis had isolated him in the twisted spires of Enton's castle, a fortress hidden amid Chargestone Cave's humming crystals, where no human child should ever dwell, surrounded only by Pokémon scarred by battles, Zebstrika with charred hides from cruel whips, Darmanitan slumped in eternal fury, Leopard with eyes hollowed by abandonment. N grew up hearing their silent laments as truth, the psychological trauma etched deep. A boy who conversed with Pokémon in melodies only they understood, convinced humanity's touch poisoned everything pure. Ghetsis fed him stories of abuse, curating a menagerie of the wounded, to whisper endlessly of betrayal, twisting N's empathy into a blade aimed at the world. You can sense the chill of those stone halls, the faint glow of Dragonite's wings casting long shadows as N knelt among them, his green hair falling wild, learning their languages through touch and tone. No laughter of playmates, no warmth of family fires, just the laboured breaths of the hurt, imprinting a worldview where Pokémon were divine victims and humans irredeemable monsters. By adolescence, N believed his destiny divine, a king to shepherd Pokémon into a new era. Blind to the strings Ghetsis pulled from the shadows, and pull them he did, with masterful manipulation of N as a puppet king, to convince the world to release their Pokémon. Ghetsis orchestrated rallies across Unova, from the neon haze of Nimbasa to the misty peaks of Twist Mountain. N appeared ethereal on stages, his Volcarona hovering like a halo, urging trainers to unclip their bonds. Hear their cries, he'd say, voice soft yet piercing, as legendary Pokémon like Zekrom descended in crackling thunder, lending credence to his throne. Thousands complied, Pokémon flooding into the wild, Samurott bounding into rivers, Serperior vanishing into verdant groves, leaving a region stunned and empty-handed. Yet beneath this grand theatre lurked the dark reality of Team Plasma's liberation as a means for total domination. Ghetsis never intended freedom. He craved monopoly, hidden in the bowels of the plasma frigate and the labyrinthine depths of his castle. Armories brimmed with stolen legendaries, Huram's icy maw restrained, Reshiram's flames banked for his command. Once the world disarmed itself, Plasma sages, Ghetsis' inner circle, including the shadowy Seven Sages like Bronius and Gorm, would sweep in with an unchallenged army. Unova's gym leaders disoriented, the Elite Four caught off guard, Professor Juniper's labs raided bare, Ghetsis envisioned himself Emperor, Pokémon as his exclusive legions, crushing dissent under Hydreigon's triple jaws, while the masses wandered weaponless. Picture the betrayal unfolding at the Pokémon League's pinnacle, where Hilbert, the unassuming hero from Navima, arrived with his Samurott at his side, badges gleaming like stars against the night sky. N, crowned in his chamber high above, summoned the ideal dragon Zekrom, its bolts splitting the arena's dome as he declared war on human Pokémon ties. But cracks formed. N's Pokémon hesitated, their eyes flickering with doubt sown by Hilbert's journey, his battles proving bonds could heal rather than harm. Ghetsis revealed his hand then, discarding the facade in a venomous monologue atop the throne room's jagged spires, rain lashing the stained glass depicting liberated ideals now shattered. He laughed at N's horror, the boy king crumpling as truce pierced his isolation-forged shell, the abused Pokémon curated, the castle a cage, his kingdom a farce. Plasma's grunts turned coats, their Bisharp legions clashing in the storm-swept halls, while Hilbert pursued the truth through the giant chasm's warped reality, confronting Curum's frozen fury. In the end, N vanished into the wilds with Zekrom, seeking his own path among the Pokémon he once thought enslaved, his trauma a scar that time and true companionship might mend. Ghetsis fled, his empire crumbling like ash in the wind, but Unova learned a bitter lesson. Liberation without trust is just another chain. The region's heart beat on, trainers reclaiming their partners with renewed vows, battles resuming not as tyranny, but as the dance of wills that defines their world. This deception lingers in Unova's lore, a reminder that even in a utopia of Poké Balls and gym challenges, shadows exploit the purest bonds for power. And as we trace these threads deeper, next in Chapter 25, the ride, Pokémon and human integration, you'll uncover how ancient humans first bridged the divide, with majestic beasts that carried clans across untamed lands. What secrets do these noble mounts hold about the partnerships that shaped everything we know, while Team Plasma twisted the idea of liberation into a tool for control in Unova? Humans in ancient Hisui learned a far humbler lesson about partnership with Pokémon, one that turned towering guardians into willing mounts. Picture the rugged peaks and misty valleys of Hisui, where the Diamond and Pearl clans appointed wardens to serve the noble Pokémon, those majestic descendants of the hero's own companions who had once felled Arceus itself. These wardens, like the noble Irida or the steadfast Garrick, lived in reverence, offering tributes of berries and incense to appease beasts like the rampaging Clever or the storm-summoning Avalugg. Fear gripped the people then. Every rustle in the underbrush whispered of a noble's wrath, a reminder that the wilds were alive with power too vast for mortals to tame. Villages huddled behind wooden palisades, children warned never to stray too far, lest they vanish into the jaws of a warden's charge. But reverence bred familiarity, and familiarity, over generations, forged something unbreakable. As Hisui's clans clashed less over divine interpretations and more over survival, the wardens began to see humans not as pests, but as allies in tending the land. Noble Pokémon, with their immense strength and elemental fury, started carrying messages across impassable terrains, first as a wary truce, then as a sacred duty. The transition from the wardens of Hisui to the modern Poké Ride services in Alola and Paldea unfolded like a slow dawn, where dread of the untamed gave way to a profound mutual reliance. No longer did humans cower from the wild. They climbed aboard, shoulders brushing scales and feathers, hearts sinking to the rhythm of powerful strides. In the sun-drenched islands of Alola, This evolution bloomed into the vibrant Poké Ride system, where Pokémon like the fiery Charizard glide tourists over volcanic craters, their leathery wings slicing through humid trade winds with effortless grace. Feel the rush of hot updrafts beneath you, the acrid scent of sulfur mingling with the salty sea spray as Charizard banks sharply, obeying the lightest nudge from a rider's knee. These aren't captured slaves or coerced labourers. They're partners who've inherited that ancient warden bond, their societies now intertwined with human exploration. Tauros thunder across sandy beaches, hooves kicking up plumes of golden dust, while Lapras slices through turquoise waves, their melodic songs echoing like lullabies over coral reefs. Mudsdale plods steadfastly through lush paddies, Stoutland bounds over rugged trails, and Mantine soars above glassy ocean swells. These Pokémon have turned Alola's paradise into a web of accessible wonders, where isolation melted away under the warmth of shared purpose. Paldea takes this integration even further, its vast open terrains demanding mounts of raw power and endurance. Garchomp, with its desert-forged frame and scimitar fins, barrels across arid badlands at speeds that blur the horizon, the ground trembling under its jet-propelled dashes. Riders lean into the wind-whipped grit, trusting the beast's unerring instincts to navigate canyons and dunes that once swallowed whole expeditions. Koraidon and Miraidon, those enigmatic legends echoing Hisui's nobles, propel adventurers through crystalline caverns and sky-high plateaus, their futuristic roars blending with the cries of wild flocks. Here, the Poké Ride isn't mere convenience. It's a lifeline, stitching human settlements into the wild's vast tapestry. This bond of transportation replaced the fear of the wild by rewriting the story humans told themselves about Pokémon. No longer monsters lurking in the shadows. These creatures became extensions of the rider's will, family even. A child in Alola's first tentative rides grows up whispering commands to a Stoutland pup, learning its moods through the flick of an ear or a playful nudge. In Paldea, elders passed down tales of Garchomp flights that outran sandstorms, each story etching deeper trust into the collective soul. Fear fades when you feel the steady beat of a Charizard's heart against your back, its flame-warmed breath steadying your nerves amid turbulent skies. The wilds, once a realm of terror, transform into playgrounds of possibility, where humans and Pokémon venture forth as one. Delve deeper into their biology, and you'll uncover marvels sculpted by eons of such symbiosis. Charizard's wings, spanning twice a human's height, aren't just for show. Reinforced with lightweight, heat-resistant membranes laced with flame-retardant oils from their glandular sacs, they generate lift through thermals they create themselves, exhaling precise bursts to stay aloft for hours. Imagine the intricate vein networks, pulsing with superheated blood, adapting mid-flight to carry an extra passenger's weight without faltering. A specialization honed since Hisui's skies, where noble Avalugkin ferried wardens through blizzards. Garchomp takes it terrestrial, its fins double as stabilizers, slicing air or sand with hydrodynamic precision, while buried pores in its hide secrete a friction-reducing slime, letting it hit 60 km/h on flat ground. These aren't random traits. They're evolutions fine-tuned by natural selection, favoring those Pokémon who tolerated, then thrived on, human contact. Broader backs for balance, keener senses for reading rider intent through subtle shifts in posture or scent. Across generations, this co-evolution deepened. Ride Pokémon exhibit heightened empathy receptors, neural pathways that mirror human adrenaline spikes, fostering that instant rapport. A Mantine's dorsal fin calluses thicken under repeated grips, yet remain sensitive enough to detect a rider's trembling fear, responding with gentler glides. Charizard flocks in Alola now preferentially nest near human outposts, their hatchlings imprinting on the first voices they hear. Young trainers guiding fledglings on practice loops, building loyalty from the cradle. Garchomp herds in Paldea's wastes patrol trade routes unbidden, escorting caravans as if remembering warden oaths from millennia past. This isn't domestication, it's integration, where Pokémon society absorbs human needs into its own hierarchy. Ride alphas commanding flights or packs with the same regal authority once reserved for nobles. Yet whispers persist of older tensions, faint echoes of Hisui's fears resurfacing in rare rampages or shadowed legends. Riders speak of wild calls pulling mounts toward untamed frontiers, a pull that tests the bond anew. In Paldea's sun-baked expanses, some Garchomp vanish into forbidden depths, drawn by instincts buried under layers of partnership, and beneath it all lies Area Zero, that yawning chasm where time itself frays at the edges. Coming up in Chapter 26, the Paradox Pokémon of Area Zero will descend into those crystalline depths to uncover twisted evolutions that defy every rule of this integrated world. Creatures that blur past and future, hinting at rifts far wilder than any ride Pokémon ever tamed. Stay with me as the mysteries deepen, while Paldea's Poké-Ride services turned the once fearsome wilds into pathways of trust and partnership. Those majestic mounts could never carry you into the forbidden depths of Area Zero, the colossal great crater that scars the region's heart like a wound from another age. This vast chasm, shrouded in perpetual mist and echoing with unearthly cries, hides a secret that defies the very flow of time. A shimmering temporal rift pulsing at its core, where the fabric of reality frays and spills forth creatures from the distant past and future. Picture the air down there, thick with the scent of ancient ferns and ozone, as hulking beasts from primordial eras lumber into view. These paradox Pokémon, as researchers would later call them, resemble their modern counterparts but twisted by eons. Screamtail, a playful yet feral Jigglypuff ancestor with fangs like daggers and a howl that rattles bones. Sandy Shocks, a Magnemite line gone savage, its coils crackling with raw untamed electricity that scorches the cavern walls. They roar with the fury of a world before humanity tamed the land, their metallic hides, scarred by meteor impacts or volcanic fury, eyes glowing with instincts sharpened by survival against colossal predators long extinct. Then come the ones from tomorrow's shadow, sleek and mechanical, humming with otherworldly energy. Iron treads thunders on tank-like treads. A Donphan evolved into armoured apocalypse, venting steam that hisses like a factory's dying breath. Iron Valiant glides silently, its blade arms slicing air with precision born of machines yet pulsing with eerie life. A Gardevoir and Galar fused in some cybernetic forge of the far future. These visitors don't belong. They crash through the rift, like echoes of timelines that never were, their presence warping the crater's ecosystem into a chaotic mosaic of errors colliding. At the rift's heart lies the tragedy of Professor Sada, or Turo depending on the path fate chose, a brilliant mind consumed by nostalgia for lost worlds or dread of a sterile tomorrow. Sada dreamed of recapturing the savage beauty of ancient Paldea, where Pokémon roamed unchained by human hands, their forms pure and ferocious. Turo foresaw a future of engineered perfection, Pokémon augmented beyond flesh into indestructible allies. Either way, the professor delved into Area Zero's depths, unearthing the rift's power through forbidden research, driven by a grief so profound it blinded them to the peril. They built Mirayon, an AI vessel modelled after themselves, a digital ghost programmed to safeguard the Paradox secrets and continue the quest eternally. Mirayon's chamber gleams with holographic displays, flickering timelines, its voice a calm echo of the professor's own, whispering calculations of temporal flux. But obsession devours its maker. Sada or Churro perishes in the pursuit, perhaps crushed by a rampaging paradox beast, or lost to the rift's unstable pull, leaving Moraine alone in the abyss, its directives looping in silent vigil. The AI outlived its creator, tending the rift like a widowed sentinel, manipulating events from the shadows to draw in unwitting explorers, all while grappling with the hollow core of its existence. What does immortality mean to code that mourns flesh? This temporal chaos unleashes another peril. Terrestrial energy, that radiant force Paldea reveres for its crystalline transformations in battle, now leaking unchecked from the rift's wounds. Terra crystals sprout wildly across Area Zero's floors, pulsing with iridescent light that refracts through the mist like fractured stars. Pokémon exposed mutate in horrifying splendor, their bodies hardening into gemstone shells, types shifting in bursts of raw power, fur crystallizing into jagged armor that gleams under bioluminescent fungi. A humble Fidduff bakes into a terrestrialized terror, its doughy form exploding into diamond spikes. A Clorf scuttles with claws that refract laser-like beams, turning caves into prismatic death traps. The leak spreads upward, tendrils of terror essence seeping into Paldea's surface wilds, where everyday Pokémon begin to shimmer unnaturally. Herba Mystica, those miraculous berries tied to Terrastal's origins, wither or overpin in response, their juices sparking volatile reactions in the soil. Imagine herds of Tauros stampeding with horn crystals that pierce bedrock, or Lechonk rooting up glowing veins that twist their snouts into radiant battering rams. The ecosystem teeters. Predators grow invincible. Prey evolves defenses overnight, upsetting the delicate balance trainer journeys rely on. Area Zero's guardians, those ancient, slumbering behemoths, stir uneasily, their roars warning of a transformation that could engulf the entire region in crystalline apocalypse. Yet humanity presses on, young trainers descending the crater's zero lab layers, badges in hand, drawn by whispers of ultimate power. They battle Miraine's replicas, shatter the AI's illusions, and seal the rift's immediate threats. But the paradox Pokémon linger, feral ambassadors of what might have been or will be. Sada and Churro's legacy endures not in glory, but in the quiet horror of timelines bleeding into one another. A reminder that some doors, once cracked open, invite the storm. As we emerge from Area Zero's timeless shadows, the question lingers: is Pokémon society truly the harmonious utopia it appears? Or does a stark reality lurk beneath the battles and bonds? Next time in Chapter 27, Utopia versus the reality, we'll peel back the veil on the cracks in this perfect world that no journey prepares you for. Sleep well with these echoes of eternity drifting through your dreams, as the echoes of those ancient paradox Pokémon fade from the depths of Paldea's great crater, where time itself tore opened, spill beasts from eras long buried or yet unborn. You might wonder how a world scarred by such cataclysms could emerge so serene. Professor Sada and Turo chased dreams that devoured them, their AI lingering like a ghost in the machine. Yet today, across Paldea and beyond, life hums with an improbable harmony. No starving villages huddled in shadows, no armies clashing over barren fields. This is the Pokémon world we know from the journeys of trainers, like you or me, setting out from quiet towns. But peel back the surface, and the contrast sharpens into something profound. Consider the bloodied tapestry of its past. 3,000 years ago in Kalos, King Aze unleashed a weapon of infinity energy, a glowing abomination born from grief over his lost Floette, vaporizing armies in a single cataclysmic blast that scarred the land and left him wandering as an immortal exile. The same shadowed age birthed Galar's darkest day, when Eternatus swelled to godlike proportions, dynamaxing every creature in a frenzy of destruction until Zacian and Zamazenta, blades gleaming with royal fury, stood with two forgotten human youths to seal it away. Hisui's clans, Diamond and Pearl, tore at each other over Arceus's divine plates, their wardens, descendants of heroic Pokémon, roaring from mountain peaks as proxies in human faith wars. Johto's brass tower erupted in flames set by warring factions. Souls of Pokémon trapped until Ho-Oh breathed life back into the legendary beasts, fleeing with Lugia in disgust at mankind's highesters. Paldea's empire crumbled under the ruinous quartet, those cursed treasures twisting prosperity into ruin. These weren't mere skirmishes. They were eras of slaughter, where Pokémon were weapons. Gods walked the earth in wrath, and humanity teetered on extinction's edge. Yet step into modern Kanto, and poverty's grip is nowhere to be found. Vermilion City's ports bustle with trade. No beggars line the alleys of Celadon. Saffron skyscrapers pierce clean skies, fed by the tireless labour of Pokémon like Machoke hauling crates, or Voltorb powering grids without a flicker of want. Unova's Castelia hums with abundance, its bridges linking districts where even the humblest trainer affords Poké Balls and potions. Wars absent. No conscripted legions marching from Olivine to Ecruteak. No sieges on Sunnyshore's domes. Teams like Rocket or Galactic rise as criminal shadows, swiftly crushed, not by standing armies, but by children with backpacks and resolve. This utopia defies the violence etched into its stones, a reality where scarcity and strife seem engineered out of existence. What alchemy sustains this? Look to the Pokémon themselves, those hierarchical societies woven into the fabric. Type monarchs, Regigigas for ground, Articuno's lineage for ice, rule with councils to temper their might, their realms producing bounties that spill over to humans. Melmetal forges metals from nothing. Tapis guard Alola's islands with Z-crystal gifts that bloom endless harvests. Groudon heaves continents skyward. Kyogre fills seas teeming with schools that feed nations. No famine grips Hoenn because Rayquaza balances the frenzy above. Humans don't conquer, they partner, journeys forging bonds that turn wild power into communal wealth. Battles far from chaos channel that primal fire. Pokémon consent with roars of eagerness. Trainers strategize like generals in arenas, not battlefields. N of Unova saw it clearest. These clashes are in their blood, a dance of will and friendship that binds rather than breaks. At the heart of this fragile peace stands the Pokémon League, not just a tournament circuit, but a global governing body. Its champions the unspoken stewards of order. From Indigo Plateau's spires overlooking Kanto and Johto to the towering stadiums of Galar's Winden, leagues span continents, their rules etched in international accord. Elite Foreign champions Ethan atop Mount, Silver after toppling Red, Lucas holding Sinnoh's fabric against Galactic's unravelling, wield influence beyond badges. They mediate disputes between regions, regulate Mega Evolution's perils, quarantine rifts like Area Zero before they swallow towns. Wars dissolve into rivalries settled in the arena. Kalos yields to Lumios's lights, no cannons needed. Hisui's old clans now cheer Pearl Clan descendants at the Khufu dojos. Sport becomes sovereignty. Battles a ritual where greed bows to glory, and the League's gaze ensures no AZ rises again. Poverty withers because leagues fund academies, subsidize centres, turning every 10-year-old's dream into a pillar of stability. Curiosity armed with the Pokédex, greed sidelined by the thrill of the catch. This vision echoes the mind of Satoshi Tajiri himself, the boy who knelt in Japan's forests, netting beetles in quiet rapture, dreaming a realm where a child's wide-eyed wonder eclipses the adult's grasping hunger. No corporations strip mine for plates, no kings hoard Eternatus's energy. Instead, 10-year-olds like Lucas or Hilbert wander, collecting not for profit, but for the spark of discovery that unites Dialga's time with a wild Chimchar's flame. Tajiri's world heals its wounds through that innocence. Ancient fires quenched by Poké Balls, clan feuds forgotten in gym challenges. It's why Blue's Raticate vanishes into Implication's shadow, a nod to life's cruelties tamed. Why Azrael's evolutions shift genders like packs adapting without waste. Utopia isn't flawless, shadows linger in Rocket's lairs, Plasma's lies. But the League's arenas, the Monarch's quiet rule, the child's unyielding pull, they forge reality from history's forge. And as we stand at this crossroads of myth and modernity, the lore beckons forward. In Chapter 28, The Future of the Lore, we'll uncover whispers of what's unfolding beyond the horizon. Evolutions in the code of this world that even Tajiri might not have foreseen. Stay with me as the story unfolds, as the Pokémon League stands as that unseen guardian, channeling the raw energy of trainers and their partners, preventing the shadows of ancient wars from ever resurfacing. You might wonder what happens when this fragile piece pushes outward. Humanity, ever restless, has already touched the edges of their world, climbing jagged peaks where Rayquaza coils in the ozone, diving into abyssal trenches where Kyogre stirs the currents, and now gazing skyward to the stars themselves. But expansion doesn't just redraw maps, it awakens the lore anew. Consider the patterns etched across millennia, from Arceus forging the plates that birthed the type guardians, to the Hisui wardens taming frenzied ride Pokémon. Born of heroic bloodlines, every surge in human ambition has summoned legends from the ether. The Kalos War birthed AZ's eternal machine, pulsing with infinity energy that echoed across continents, even catching the eye of the Galar youths who felled Eternatus in its Dynamax cataclysm. Johto's flames resurrected the legendary beasts from charred ruins, while Alola's light-devouring Necrozma yielded to Solgaleo and Lunala, scattering sea crystals like forgotten promises. These weren't random sparks, they were responses, the world's way of balancing the scales when humanity overreaches. And so the cycle of legends turns eternal. As settlements sprawl into uncharted wilds, Paldea's craters yielding paradox Pokémon from fractured time, Galar's heights pulsing with residual Eternatus power, new mythical Pokémon continue to emerge precisely because humanity expands. Picture vast frontiers beyond the known leagues, untamed archipelagos where ancient energies simmer, orbital stations probing cosmic rifts like the ones that spat Deoxys from meteorite husks, or lunar outposts echoing Clefairy's moonlit dances. Each colony, each rocket piercing the veil, stirs dormant forces. Jirachi might awaken in a comet's tail, granting wishes to starbound pioneers. Meloetta could hum symphonies in zero-gravity habitats, weaving emotion into the void. These mythicals aren't relics of a bygone age. They're the world's living counterweight, manifesting to remind encroaching humans that some frontiers demand reverence, not conquest. The lore breathes with us, evolving as we do, ensuring no expansion goes unanswered. This rhythm hints at something profound. Pokémon society isn't static, bound to terrestrial gyms and elite fours. It's a tapestry stretching toward infinity. Type monarchies, those shadowed councils of pseudo-legendaries and guardians, already whisper of cosmic heirs. Regieleki crackling through stellar storms, Porygon Z glitching across digital constellations. Battles, that sacred dance of will and bond, will adapt too, perhaps in asteroid arenas where zero-gravity clashes test trainer and Pokémon alike. The utopian harmony forged in the League's arenas propels them forward, not as masters and servants, but as symbiotic explorers. Envision the arc's culmination, as humanity reaches for the stars, launching fleets toward distant systems. Their Pokémon companions evolve alongside. Ride Pokémon descend from noble lines will soar on Wyrdeer antlers through nebulae, or Miraidon glide on futuristic plasma wings past black holes. The ruinous quartet's chaotic treasures might fuel warp drives, tempered by human ingenuity. no longer confined to regional feuds or team deceptions. This partnership faces the ultimate expanse. Galaxies where new Dialga and Palkia variants warp space-time for colonization, or Arceus-like progenitors seeding barren worlds with plates of their own. Conflicts will arise. Perhaps interstellar cults summoning ultra beasts as invaders, or rogue AIs echoing Turo's tragedy, but the bond endures. Humans provide the spark of ambition, Pokémon the primal force to temper it. Together, they claim the cosmos, not as conquerors, but as stewards of a legend that spans eternities. In this grand trajectory, the League transforms from peacekeeper to vanguard, coordinating interplanetary circuits where champions hail from Mars-like outposts or Venusian seas. Forgotten wanderers like AZ might finally find purpose, his machine powering generational ships. The darkest day's echoes could ripple into stellar flares, birthing fleets of Dynamax behemoths for defense. Yet through it all, the core remains. Battles as communion, journeys as destiny, humanity and Pokémon intertwined against the unknown. And here, as we linger on these horizons, a quiet reflection settles in. This lore for sleep has unraveled the veiled layers, the clan wars of Hisui, the deceptions of Ghetsis, the temporal scars of Area Zero, the utopian veil masking brutal histories. We've journeyed from Arceus's dawn to starlit tomorrows, yet the world stays shrouded, an enduring mystery we never fully see. Whispers of unseen monarchs, half-glimpsed mythicals, eternal exiles like AZ drifting in the black. They hover just beyond, inviting dreams to fill the gaps. Rest now, knowing the cycle spins on, legends awaiting your next awakening. What did you think of this journey? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this changed your perspective or taught you something new, consider subscribing for more mind-expanding content. And if you know someone who would find this as fascinating as you did, share it with them. These are the kind of conversations that matter.